You're tuned into Mornings in the Lab, where today we're diving deep into something that's replacing the rise and grind mentality. It's called emotional intelligence. Yes, it's true, fellas. 2025 is the year we're trading biceps for emotional flexes. Epic morning show coming up right now. Get in the lab. Get up, get out of bed, and don't hit the snooze button. Mornings in the Lab. Jimmy, it starts right now. Welcome to Mornings in the Lab, where
when something negative comes up.
Building muscle improves blood flow.
From squirting to squirreling.
Start small, build up, and expand from there.
To be entertained by fun over here.
How have I slept? Has my sleep been good? That's
There we go. Good morning, everybody. Running a minute or two behind. The power went out yesterday. I had some things I had to sort out before the show started today. So, just put us a second behind. Here we go. Let's go. Here we go. We're back. It's Wednesday in the morning. Luke just dated the show, Jimmy, on the Evergreen Experience, Mornings in the Live with Keith and friends. We're talking about why emotional intelligence is becoming the new currency in business and life. And trust me, guys, this is the kind of R-rated experience that's it might offend the children. So if you got kids around, I would invite you to put the headphones in or just introduce them to the new dictionary of adult language. Good morning, Brophy. Good morning, Calgary. Good morning, Alberta. Good to see you in the lab first thing this morning. I'm glad to hear you didn't hit the snooze button, Brophy. You're 9 minutes ahead of the the guy that's laying in bed. I almost said it, Jason. I almost said it. You're 9 minutes ahead of the guy that is actually still laying in bed. Maybe Johnny, maybe he's checking his nuts. What? What did Uncle Keith say? Maybe he's checking his nuts. Well, if you listen to yesterday's show, we talked about nut checking. And not the neighbor next door, not your brother, your brother-in-law, your cousin, your best friend, not that nut. No, the nuts in your pants. Guys, 68% of us don't check our nuts enough. So I'm inviting you to check your nuts today, guys. Why? Well, you might have a little lump. What? Yeah, it might be a little testicular cancer. What? Yeah, true story. Not trying to make fun of it. Just telling you guys, I'd invite you to check your nuts because you might find a little lump. It just might save your life, actually. So it might be one of those good things to do is check your nuts today as you get after your day today. Hey, what else we got coming up on the show here, Marty? Jimmy, we got some Masculinity or Madness, the controversial sport that's here to stay. Oh, man, Johnny, I can't wait to show this to you, brother. You're going to look at me and go, what the fuck is that? Got a little video coming up here called Masculinity or Madness, a new sport. And hey, forget followers, you guys. You guys still looking at followers to grow your business? I got to go get 1 million followers. Nah. You might want to look at what really drives influence in 2025, and it's not your follower count. Our accountability check-in, have you ever told yourself that you're enough today? Well, get that coming up as well. And Damon Clark, why most team trainings fail and how Damon Clark is fixing it, coming up to the end of the lab as well. And we got the monk, Nick Hashemi, joining us in the second hour. Jimmy, let's bring in the man himself, Mr. John Anderson. What's going on, my brother from another mother? How are you, pal?
I'm good. How are you, brother?
I'm awesome. Hey, had a meeting with a dude yesterday. He's like, hey, how long have you and Anderson worked together? I'm like, I don't know, like about a year, just hanging out. He's like, man, you guys got some kind of chemistry that he goes, I've worked in morning radio, I've worked with guys. He goes, you guys have a chemistry that you can't define. I'm like, well, we don't talk until we talk on the show. We keep it raw and honest. And I said, I love the brother. He's like, I can tell. So just shouting it out to you, pal. There's a magic happening every morning here in the lab, and it's between you, me, and Marty. When Marty's here, Marty's busy sorting out life right now, which is all right. But I just wanted to share that little news with you, brother. Oh,
well, that's good shit. That's really good
I also wanted to share with you that I enjoy being your personal assistant.
Well, it's because here's the thing.
Hold on. I get a message, everybody, from Johnny yesterday. We're just trying to connect with somebody on the show. And then he sends me a crazy message at the other day. What's going on with this crazy son of a bitch? Why does it have to be so difficult? Why won't he accept my fax machine or my pigeon flying through the fucking air? I'm laughing at you, brother, but
Because the thing is with my social media, it's just so easy for something like that to get lost.
Yes, yes.
And everybody wants to reach out on social. I'm like, no. I'm happy. There's certain people I'll give a direct line to me. And I guess I'm about simple. You know what I mean? Give me a number. Give me a number that I can fucking text,
Yes, I know. But here's the thing, brother. And here's what I find funny about what's happening with you and our friend Tom over in London. What's shaking, Tom? Is that all my friends in London, Johnny, and I've had plenty of them over the years. Man, when it comes to phones, it just doesn't work. They're like, no, just send me. I had a guy who just wanted to live on Skype. I'm like, really, Skype? Like, fuck, man. Can I just string a piece of wire across the ocean so we could do some work together? Any of my experience with my friends in the UK never works. Just never works.
His intent was perfect. He said, here's my number, and then here's a video link. Right. So clearly I would have texted him to say, let's set up a time. The video link's already there. Problem is that number wouldn't deliver.
There you go. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, granted, I'm far from a tech guy, but generally speaking, when it's got the +44, it should work.
Speaking of, hey, did you check your nuts today? I did. I've had 2 showers today. Checked them twice.
I think I was thinking about that, and I can kind of clearly, when I think about my nuts, I can think pretty clearly. I can imagine what they look like because I think I've gained enough of a. Because you like a blind person figures out what you look like by touching your face. What's so funny? That's the truth.
So
you ever have a blind person come up and they'll just gently feel your face?
100%. But I just wasn't thinking about talking about a blind person to feel my face, to be thinking about touching my nuts, because
it's a high-tech methodology for shit you can't see.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean it's I'm all about fucking taking a method that works over here and putting it over here. Well, I don't know if there's a better way to do it. Well, so that being said, I've done this to my nuts enough times. I'm pretty crystal clear. I didn't understand that I was actually checking myself for testicular cancer all these years, but now I have an excuse.
Yes, exactly. And it's a legitimate excuse. So, gentlemen, having some fun with y'all, and we're gonna make it we're owning snoozing on the show. You guys snooze. You guys are 9 minutes behind. Keith and Johnny are owning it. Keith and Johnny are creating the ultimate snooze button application. You just watch what we're gonna create. You just watch what we're gonna make, because you guys are all gonna be fucking blown away. The morning story and we're gonna have this big snooze button. It's just gonna, I don't know. It's just like my brain's racing. But Johnny, I gotta tell you something else too. We were talking about nut checking. We uploaded the video yesterday, and YouTube's like, well, no, you can't talk about nuts. I'm like, what are you talking about? Can't talk about nuts. It's a human thing. So sure enough, I was like, oh, well, so sure enough, I was patient, sent a little note. I'm like, oh, you guys talking about testicular cancer? I'm like, yes, so it was all good. So, but I do want to say something else.
So they actually sent a message saying,
well, I got a review note from them saying you can't run this, you can't monetize this video. But here the funny thing is, we do 2 streams, right? Do vertical and horizontal. But I'm like, yeah, but this one's being monetized. So our account rep looked at it. She goes, oh, I see. So it was a quick back and forth, but I found it humorous.
No, that's killer. That's great that you got that done. And it's also very humorous because clearly they took it the wrong way.
Yeah, but we're having good intentions about it. Speaking of good intentions, Johnny, and when you left yesterday, AJ and I talked for a couple minutes. It's Mental Health Month, as you know or may not know. And can
I step in right there?
I know what you're going to say.
Don't understand why we fucking say, okay, this month we take care of ourselves. Jesus Christ, people.
That was my rant with AJ yesterday.
It's like New Year's resolution. Okay, let's wait 9 fucking months to decide to make a fucking change.
That's exactly. So you must have been listening, because I said to AJ yesterday, I said, AJ, because we know AJ's an expert in mental health. And I'm like, dude, I know it's Mental Health Month, but I just got to get this off my chest. Why can't it be mental health for the rest of the year? And I related to what you said, which was, Anderson said it really great. If we as men spent as much time focusing on our mental health as we do our abs and our chest, man, there'd be a lot of strong men in the world. So guys, it's Mental Health Month, but on this show, it's mental health every single day.
Dude, I'm telling you. So check this out. Yesterday, my power cleans, where it was a great workout.
Yeah. How did it go?
It was good. It was a great workout.
Yeah.
My hands held together pretty well.
Yeah.
Bruising, but didn't come through the skin.
Okay.
Anyway, it was a tough one, and I can always tell when I get overtrained. And that was definitely because I'm actually training myself into being overtrained right now on purpose because I'm gonna need to take a couple of days off. So I do that's kind of part of my methodology. Anyway.
Okay.
I expected to feel the way I felt last night tonight. So I'm ahead of schedule here. But point of being, I was sweating. Whoa. Did you hear that?
I did hear that. What the hell is that? Thunder?
That's fucking thunder, dude.
Wow.
Oh no, actually, excuse me. That was my dog coming out of the that was actually my dog. He's smart. He knew how to open the door. Oh shit!
Like, I'm not going.
Anyway,
I'm gonna go.
Like, God damn! I was just outside. There's no fucking cloud in the sky. Holy shit! Anyway, so last night I sweat like a mother in my sleep, which is a clear sign of being overtrained.
Right? Yeah. Oh,
so I woke up this morning and mentally I was basically overtrained as well because you don't just get overtrained physically, and so. Based on this conversation of mental health, I said, okay, it's time for me to fucking rearrange a little bit of time. So I have a non-negotiable reading of 1 page. I never read 1 page.
Yes.
But I went with my 1 page today so I could put as much time as I could into my silence time because I know that I needed that extra time to mentally align because I'm overtrained. Little stuff like this. This is the way we should live our lives. We wake 100%. Up, okay, start fucking. It's like a fucking mechanic checking under the hood. Pull out the fucking dipstick. How do things look? Okay, we need a little oil. Just tune it up. But it needs to be a daily thing.
Yes. It's got to be a daily thing. It's like checking our nuts. Hey, Keith and John, mornings in the lab with Keith and friends, getting after it every single day here, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Coming up in a couple minutes after the accountability check-in, we got Damon Clark, the founder of Talent Optimizers, global consulting firm. Johnny, in the world of AI, I got to ask Clark this one. Like, who the hell needs a consultant? I'm just asking the question.
A consultant for what?
Exactly. I don't know, man. I got consultants all over my place with all my AI agents everywhere. Anyways, we're going to get into that conversation with Damon. We just totally disrespect his whole industry in one comment with an impressive corporate background. He's like,
I think consultants are. I'm big on consultants. I think that there's always somebody that knows more than me. Call it a consultant, call it a coach, call it what you will. And that fast track for me to get that information is key. Yes. Now, can AI play a role in that? Yes. But if my coach or my consultant is not using AI to make his service the best possible, now I would have a problem because he can be more efficient and be better for me. He can take his information and turbocharge it with the use of AI.
Yes.
I don't have his knowledge, so I can't make AI perform the same way.
I get you.
I'd say can't, God damn it. See, that's an overtrained word right there.
Yeah, so that's
I would have trouble.
A tired word there.
I would have difficulty.
There you go. There you go. Hey, would you, Johnny, Jimmy? Let's do this. Let's do this little quick segment before we go to the accountability check-in. Johnny, would you sprint full speed into another human being just because you saw it on social media, dude? I know that you and I try to keep.
I've done that before, but not because it was on social media.
There's a brand new controversial trend called "Run It Straight" that's exploded online. It's a so-called "quote unquote" sport that involves participants running directly at each other at full speed.
Well, let's define sport.
I know.
Is that your choice of words or their choice of words?
Their choice of words, actually. The organizer and they've legitimized it, Johnny. So I know.
Organizer. Oh, this is not just a throw the box fucking
No, this is why I put this shit on the table for you and I to roll our eyes and go, really? Like, what the hell, right? So, and this sport, quote unquote, has claimed the life of a teenager. Yeah.
Oh, I bet, dude. I fucking bet. I mean, okay, in the wrestling ring, it's fucking 20 feet by 20 feet, right? Not exactly, but just to give everybody an idea. Yeah. That's not very far to get up to. We're not even close to full speed. We're trained to run into each other so we don't fucking hurt each other. Can you imagine someone not trained going at full fucking speed, just crashing into somebody else? I'm surprised more people haven't died. Jimmy, you got a video to run for us, brother? Let's run that video, Jimmy. Oh, Jesus. Is this the one where somebody dies, or is this someone a different one? Oh, my God. Oh, they're holding a ball at least, huh?
Is this a sport, or just legalized chaos. It's called
damn.
Run It, and it's exploding in Australasia.
Last week, Ryan
Yeah.
Sauterweight was critically injured while playing an impromptu Run It straight game with his friends in New Zealand,
Dude,
Johnny.
You see his head was down?
Believe me. Yeah. Yeah, I
Holy
did.
shit. These motherfuckers must sign a waiver that fucking thick to be able to do this.
Well, and apparently, his death it wasn't the result of his hitting his head. It was the jolting motion of the collision. So it was the abrupt collision. It wasn't so much the head, it was the jolting collision. But for years, this trend has sporadically gone viral on social media, but it's recently been transformed from random videos, Johnny, full-fledged commercial enterprise.
Well, I see that. I mean, there were spectators. There was a little runway. They're even holding something. Is it a ball? Is it like a football or a rugby ball?
Like that, yeah. So it's coming out of Australia, but it's apparently it's here to stay. They're trying to put more, what's the word, sanctions and stuff around it, rules around it. But the plan is they're planning future events in coming months, and you know what?
Holy shit, dude!
I would wonder out loud, Johnny, if this is any different than maybe when we started. UFC, right? When it was bare knuckles fighting or some of that stuff, right? It's been an evolution of some of these sports, right? I don't know. It's just crazy.
Well, okay, I'll run with that one.
Yeah,
but at least when the UFC started, it was all of these different ancient type fucking disciplines brought to see which one was the best. Yeah, now of course, then you got as it started to get going, because they've been having those tests for fucking since the beginning of time.
Yes,
whose version of karate was better?
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
So, but then of course, then it turned into like the bar brawlers getting in there, and then of course 100%. As it commercializes. But yeah, I mean, this one here, I mean, I bet you if you went far enough back, you'd find some weird shit similar to this. But god damn it, like the UFC, they had a hell of a time doing it in the beginning, anywhere except for these little islands because of the.
I remember. Yes.
Yeah.
I absolutely remember.
Holy shit, dude.
Let's do the accountability check-in. Jimmy, we'll bring in Damon Clark in a couple minutes. I see your comments, Fontana. It's true, man. People have loved brutality for eons, ever since the Egyptians, gladiator games. Yeah, it's true. All those things, they've always, the idea of beating each other up has certainly been a part of society, Fontana. It's, and what do we got here? We got Matthew Roof joining us as well with Shaken Brother. I appreciate you, Matty. I appreciate your note this morning as well. A beautiful day to be kind in Binghamton, New York. Maddie, a beautiful day to be uncommonly kind, I would say as well. And you have yourself a great day as well. Lady Drew Boger, one of our OG members in the Mornings in the Lab community. Just a reminder, guys, you can get into the community for $2, $10, $20. Just a simple little donation to keep the show rolling. This is not to line Keith and Johnny's pockets. It's to keep investing in the show. But this is the part we get into the accountability check-in. Have you ever told yourself you're not enough today? Not because you hit a goal. Not because someone noticed your work. Not because you earned it. No, baby, not because you earned it. Just because you woke up and showed up. And I used to think I had to achieve my way into feeling worthy. Crush the next win, stack the next proof, then maybe I'd finally feel I belong. But it never worked. Because if you don't believe you're enough now, no amount of winning, any time in your life will change that. So what did work? I started saying it to myself every single day. You're enough. It was that simple decision, but it changed my mind and it needed to prove that to myself. And because of that, I started believing that I am enough. I took better care of myself. I showed up for my family. I led with overthinking. I wrote down my non-negotiables and stuck to them. Because when you know because you know it, you got to stop needing to prove it all the time. And that gives you energy. Jimmy, I'm just stumbling over my words on the accountability check-in today. Let's just get the hell on with it. Guys, get up, get after. Don't hit the snooze button. If you feel like you're worth it, if you don't feel like you're worth it, tell yourself that you are. You might surprise yourself. Yeah, exactly, Jimmy. I see your comments there. Good morning, Holroyd. Good to see you. All right, let's do this, Jim. Damon Clark is the founder of Talent Optimizers, a global consulting firm helping organizations align people with strategy. With an impressive corporate background spanning leadership roles at Fujitsu, Siemens, Acer, Dell, EMC, HubSpot, and the Predictive Index, Damon now works with high-profile clients like Thermo Fisher, HSBC, NATO, This one jumped out at me. The UN and Centrica, his mission, Johnny, to revolutionize team and talent development using science-backed, data-driven, and scalable solutions that stick. With over 60 clients across the globe and a deep passion for building high-performing teams, Damon's approach is about results that last, not one-and-done workplaces. We think we're going to get him up here into the lab. Jimmy, let's try to bring in Damon Clark. We'll see if it works. Got him up on the screen here. There he is. Damon, we got you on both screens, brother.
He's still working.
Okay, I don't know if you can hear me. Thumbs up if you can hear me.
We can
hear you loud and clear, brother.
Okay, I have.
Hey, well, he sorts himself out. I gotta grab my cup of coffee.
You go grab it, John. You go do it, buddy. Yeah.
So I'm going to, if you want to remove me and put me back into a meeting room, I'm going to try and play with my.
All right. So while we get Damon
Clark, and I go add, this never happens.
We're going to get Damon Clark sorted out there, Jimmy, in the green room there. We'll get him sorted out while we keep the show rocking and rolling here on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Jimmy, let's bring Johnny back on. Yeah.
Johnny, I gotta have some fun with Damon on this one. This never happens. It's kind of like when someone's fucking just smashing a fucking king size Kit Kat. They can barely fucking breathe. This never happens. They fucking choke it down.
I was waiting to joke with you about our horse in the pen right now. We didn't get a chance to put our.
I never saw him down there. I never even got a fucking look. I didn't even see his head poking over the goddamn fence.
Yeah, well, Jimmy, I do hear him. I don't think he heard us, so do we want to try him out there, Jimmy? Let's try him out. Let's try him up. Oh no, he just left again there. He just left the screen is what he did. All right. You know, Johnny, I gotta tell you something, man. We had a chat with one of our post-show guests, and you know we do a post-show discussion after every show. And brother, we are doing a social experiment in real time because, and I'm learning with the men we bring on our show. You got one group of men that read the instructions, Johnny, unequivocally read the instructions and have no problem getting on the show. You have another group of men that take the IKEA box and go, I can't make this fucking box. The instructions don't work. And then you have the other guy that goes to the IKEA store and buys the box and says, fuck it. I'm not reading this thing. I'm just trying to put it together. All the instructions are the same, but you got three guys that all just can't do it their own way, man. It's hilarious. I got some guys for the post show like, oh yeah, it was easy to get on. Some guys, oh, it's pretty confusing. Some guys go, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Well, you know, here's the thing, brother, because I'm the guy
I know
that doesn't like to read the instructions, but here's the thing though.
Yes.
Here's the thing. I'm also the guy that likes to be very fucking prepared.
I know.
So if I've got to have the IKEA fucking coffee table made at a certain time on a certain day, I might venture off trying to put it together without reading the instructions, but I'll start off way ahead of time so that I'll make sure that I meet my deadline.
I know you are. I love that about you. I got to tell. I was in the middle of a happy baby this morning. I was doing yoga and I got your text saying I might be a few minutes late, and I was had my hands up in the air. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. I appreciate that, brother. But speaking of, I got to ask you this then. So if you're mediocre with instructions, how are you with maps? As a man, do you look at the map? Do you use Google Maps? Do you ask your wife? Do you just drive because you're like, oh yeah, I know it's in that direction and I'm going that way there. Terry, leave me alone.
You know, that's a good, you know, Terry and I used to actually have difficulty with that. Like if I was driving and she was feeding me directions,
yes.
Our language just didn't fucking work well together. And so
I don't know if any husband and wife's language. Gentlemen tuning in right now, I'm asking all of you, what is your language like when you guys are driving with your wife? Who is it the passenger driving or is the driver driving?
Well, now we have a clear fucking set of rules. Whoever's fucking driving, you're listening to your shit. You're looking at your own shit. You know, if you need some assistance, you can ask for a little help, but there's no fucking responsibility in the person in the passenger seat.
Oh, you guys had to have that shot, eh? Which was
because it would create friction. Anytime we had to find somewhere, it would create friction. And then you get where you want to go, and it's like, God damn it, you know, it's like you got to shake off that. It's, you know, it's like when you're all dressed up and you fucking fall down and you're all dusty. You got to dust yourself off. You can dust yourself off, but just why fall down? You know what I mean? You've done it too many fucking times.
Oh man, I know. There's been some times I'm like, Lauren, I'm driving. Like, and that's just it, right? It's just that I'm driving. In other words, No, I'm fucking driving. Do you want to drive? If you want to drive, then drive. But I'm the one who's driving. So I will get us to where we need to get to right now. You know?
Well, you know, the crazy thing with that, I used to always drive. And then as I started to, I guess you'd say, as I started to get deeper into, you know, really understanding time. This is probably a decade ago.
Yep.
I started to realize, dude, what the fuck are you doing? You know, sometimes we'd have some pretty cool conversations in the car, but at the same time, there were times where there wasn't much going on and I wasn't thought about doing what I was doing and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, this is kind of silly. You know, when we go on drives, she's going to drive. It's just kind of a rule of thumb. She's going to drive. And sometimes I'll say I want to drive, but that means I'm not doing anything other than focusing on the wheel and you.
Yes. I don't mind when Lauren drives, actually. As Lauren's been driving, because I'm getting work done when Lauren's driving. I'm getting on my phone there and I'm getting shit done. Because like you, I'm finding now with our show now and just so much going on, building the business. Speaking of, I want to grab some time with you, probably, ideally maybe this weekend. I've got some cool business things to bring you up to speed on. Me and Rufy have been working on some really good things, actually. I've been finding the awareness of time, because we got this show every single day, you know, come rain or shine. It's at 8:00 Eastern time. So I work backwards because I want to get my sleep. I've moved, Johnny. I've made my sleep one of my non-negotiables now. And I know you might be saying, but Keith, isn't that a no-brainer? It is, but in many ways, actually, I didn't have it as one of my non-negotiables. My non-negotiables always started in the morning, my training and everything. But I realized over the last couple of weeks, going, no, I got to get it started the night before. So I'm working. So my sleep now. Right. And I'm making it. I'm making it 8, 9 o'clock. I'm in bed so that I got last night I was at Brooklyn's dance recital. So it's a little off night. But so my point though is that because I'm so focused on my time now, I'm really protective of it more than ever, frankly, more than ever.
Well, you know, as we get a little bit, I think what it comes with success, you know, because you start to realize like, okay, there's these things that I used to do because my time, you look at you're basically look at your values. You know, what's your hierarchy of importance?
Yes.
You got a lot of time.
Yes.
Not much fucking dough. Well, you're going to spend what you have more of.
Yep.
Right now, it's kind of like, okay, I look at the task. If I can hire someone to do that task and save my time, that's a fucking done deal. Now, granted, there's a hierarchy of what it's going to cost. You know what I mean? You got
to balance it. Yeah, well, and I do too. You know, I've been, you know, what I've been learning is I'll back to the restaurant analogy, John. We talk about building the kitchen, right? So, or building the restaurant. I'll go into the kitchen, learn how to make the recipe myself, and then once I'm happy with it, find that sous chef to hand it over, right? So, which is how we have to get over. Have to get over it. So,
when there's kind of there's a flip side of the weird, you know, like, but perfect example, the California house got it's almost an acre. It's got a huge fucking plot of. I've never had a house with that much space before. It's 0.88 acres. I've had, you know, where the house before that, fuck, man, it was on San Francisco base. That fucker was just big enough to put the house in the driveway on. You know, there was no yard. And so we have someone that comes and takes care of it. So I don't need to do anything, but I enjoy doing it. So I have to remind myself, okay, you're not doing this. You're doing this because you enjoy walking around, catching some sun. So it's kind of weird when you have a task that's paid to be done, right? I had to kind of relearn, okay, it's okay to invest your time there because this is just your own quality of life.
Yes.
You know, it's like once I started paying for stuff, some of it I enjoyed. I had a hard time crossing back over to do it. It was really weird.
Well, I will tell you that I got that today. I got some grass I have to cut, and I don't mind it. I get away from the desk for 15 minutes, half an hour. And so my whole yard takes about an hour and a half in total, which is not the longest. I got an acre and a half, but just the way it's landscaped. But dude, I get out there, put my headphones in, go walk for 30 minutes and get some sun, get a nice grass cut, and then come back to my desk, do some work. Because much of my day is sedentary just through work itself. I don't mind getting up and going and cutting the grass, man. I actually don't. It's not a...
Yeah, and I agree. Getting outside, moving around a little bit is actually therapy.
Well, you know what I like about it too, brother? Especially with the grass. And you know, if you're probably neurotic, I know you're neurotic like I am. You get the lines all straight. When you're done, it looks all nice, and it's that fulfilling. It's like a fulfilling check the box on the task list. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's done. But it fulfills my OCD.
Yeah, you know, I actually, as time went on, I've had less of a love for grass and more of a love for palm trees.
Oh, really? Eh?
Yeah. So like the California house, we brought in
You
over
told me
50
this.
palm trees. It's good. I mean, it's they're so it's, I guess the grass is cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just have a different vision in mind,
Interesting. Yeah. Jimmy, are you ready to go, brother? Ready to go? We got ready for Damon here. I see Jimmy's. We've been working hard with getting Damon in here, and we had a little tech issues with StreamYard. So, all right, guys, let's do it. What if I told you that your team's biggest weakness isn't talent or effort? It's the way you've been training them. Well, today's guest has finally got his tech sorted out. Damon, we lead with love and we tease with love here in the lab. But today's guest has worked with everyone from NATO to HubSpot to fix exactly that. Coming up in the lab is Damon Clark. Jimmy, let's bring him up. Let's see what happens, my brother. There he is. How are you, pal?
I am so sorry to subject your audience to you two talking about lawns.
Well, we have fun with it. So don't sweat it.
And by the way, I never thought I'd be one of those people, but I'm one of those people now that has to beat my neighbor's lawn and spend far too much time mowing it. So I get you.
That's awesome. Damon's joining us. I believe you're joining us from the UK, aren't you, Damon?
No, I'm confusing you. I'm in New England, Boston now. So
you're in Boston.
Yeah, originally from the UK, London, but
Yeah, I was gonna say we can hear that. That's for sure.
Yeah, I definitely don't have a Boston accent yet.
That's awesome. How long have you been in America?
10 years.
Oh wow. Good for you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Damon's the founder of Talent Optimizers, where he helps fast-growing, people-first companies like Theme Fisher and the UN unlock team potential using behavioral science and data, not gut feel. Here to bust the biggest myths about team development and showing us how analytics can predict performance, explaining why corporate training falls before lunch or is even served. Damon, how did you get into it, brother? How did you get into the industry?
Oh, great question. So I'm going to zoom back to 1999, and I worked for an amazing organization called Fujitsu Siemens, big European tech company. And I always sensed my manager had a frustration with me, and I couldn't quite work out why. And I did something called DISC, which is a behavioral assessment. And then I realized that my communication was terrible. I had no self-awareness, and I wasn't adapting my communication. So as soon as I did this training, I realized I could then adapt my communication. He was a bit more analytical. And so when he asked me how I was doing, I would be, hey, John, I'm, 80% of my number. I think I'm going to finish 120 at the end of the quarter, and I need help with ABC. So as soon as I became more analytical and less high level, our relationship got better, and I thrived, and I became obsessed with personal development, particularly human behavior. And that's what I do now. I specialize in human behavior in the workplace.
Yeah. So let's lean into that. Talk to Johnny and I about the biggest misconception that people have about developing talent.
Sure. So what we usually
Interesting question.
It's a great question. So if we think about how this usually evolves in the corporate workplace, a few things happen. But first of all, development is only traditionally saved with the top executives. So it kind of, as you trickle down the organization, the people get less and less development. And that's no longer the case. We don't need to do that anymore, because we've got some great software which can kind of teach the whole organization same messages as the senior executives. You just do it in a different way using software. But also how it usually happens is leadership teams go on offsite. So we'll be going to a fancy location, getting together, talking about strategy, and someone will say, well, we should do some development or team building. So they all kind of go, okay, and Barbara puts up her hand and says, I did some psychological safety at my last organization. I know the guy or the lady who did it. Yeah. And that's how it gets booked. And that's just so short-sighted. So team development should be strategic. You should be focusing on the areas which you need to prioritize. It should be sustained. We should keep it going. And it should be continuous. So, unfortunately, it's a kind of afterthought on a strategy offsite, which is a shame.
Johnny and Keith are big believers in developing humans, and our show's for developing men. Yet and I've gone through the corporate world, Johnny has been fortunate not to go through the corporate world. I'm going to speak on behalf of John for a second here, Damon, that I still get surprised that corporate development doesn't spend more time on focusing on developing the human being, like as in the mental human, the emotional,
even what they fucking feed them for Christ's
yeah,
sake.
the physical side, the feeding. So for example, Damon, we joke all the time, we'll go to an offset, we'll go to a conference, and what are they feeding us? Croissants and muffins and all this crappy food. And then they're wondering, and then they're wondering why their team is tired at 2:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Like it's just,
I've been that person, like falling asleep.
right, but I'm just I'm wondering, because you come from a world that John and I aren't part of, and I'm just curious as to so when I get into about developing talent, and this is where I wanted to spend some time with you, which is I'm still puzzled as to why organizations don't spend more time on the human. Do you follow me, Damon?
Yeah, well, think about it. Most goals are not missed because of people, and when we look at boards, corporate boards or leadership teams, often HR is not even in the room. And your biggest asset in an organization is your people. And so it's very disproportionate for focus organizations often have on their talents and their people and the humans. So that's what I'd say first of all. And second of all, to feed into that, you as a human is the most important thing. Your focus on your health, on your development is more important than anything, which often gets forgotten about.
Yes. But yet corporations don't seem to care, or they're more focused on feeding you the crappy food and keeping you on campus instead of encouraging you to go and take care of yourself and go to the gym and take care of your mental health.
And I think I know why that is. So if we look at finance, marketing, sales, you come to those senior meetings with numbers and data. And traditionally, that was very difficult to do with people, and I think that's how the corporate world works. We look at numbers a lot. And yeah, traditionally, it was difficult to put numbers, engagement numbers onto people. But that's changed. And we can do that now. We can have engagement surveys. We've got people data, people analytics. So I think it's changing a bit, but I think you're absolutely right. Traditionally, there's been very little focus on the people side.
What about this? I mean, I've never even been to a fucking interview, so I've never worked in anything like this, so, but I'm just completely kind of generalizing, people are sheep, right? And in my companies, the way that I hold myself trickles down onto my team. If I was a lazy fat fucker that didn't take care of myself, do they feel like they have something to follow, or do they even feel obligated to follow the lead of the company? Right? People tend to be sheep. So my guess would be, and you tell me, brother, you start following that ladder up. At what point do you find someone who's actually living a life, eating, sleeping, doing all of the things that would make a high performing human being? At what point, or do you find any as you climb that ladder, are there people in this corporate ladder that live that life?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let me. I'm going to split that up in two responses. So the first one is demonstrating values. I'm going to skip through this. We'll come back to it if you want to. But organizations often have values, and often when we do the test, we go in and deliberately ask the organization, name your values, don't cheat. They can't do it. And we should be using those values to hire, to do performance reviews, to fire, and the leadership should be embracing them and showing them. Now that's values. We can come back to that, and that's and often 8 times out of 10, the leadership team can't name the values. The second part, which maybe this could be a whole different podcast here, is I'm going to go back to my previous career. I'm a qualified mountain guide, and I grew up in the mountains. My dad's a mountain guide, and during mountain guide school, we get taught a principle, which if it all kicks off and there's an emergency, you look after yourself first, because if you can't look after yourself, you can't look after anything. You look after your group second, and you look after the casualty last. And there's a very famous cave incident, a great story. I'd love to tell you another time where a cave flooded and the instructor had to make that decision. They had a kid disappear. What do I do? I'd love to tell you the end of that story. We'll keep that for another time. But that kept me, that kind of got me thinking when I moved back into corporate world. I had a break for 10 years, set up a guide school, built some climbing gyms, and I went back into the corporate world. And I started thinking about that training and how I could apply it. And going back to what you said is, as a leader, we should be looking after ourselves first. And that can be
Yes. If you're not fucking holding yourself, what are they watching? What are they following?
Well, not only that, I mean, it can be quite selfish. Like, am I going to spend an hour in a gym or go and do this meeting, or this emergency's popped up? So what happens is
you got to go to the gym.
But hold on. You don't fucking sacrifice anything. This is part of the problem. Is that, I'm going to go to the gym is to go to that meeting. No, dipshit. Get the fuck up when nobody fucking needs you and handle yourself before before your responsibilities start. And the problem that I see with people in general, and I'm assuming it's going to parlay into the corporate world, is people confuse information. They can say, yeah, these are my fucking values, but they don't practice them. They confuse information with implementations. They can answer all the questions. It's like the guy that's a fucking devout Christian. And then he goes and does all this fucked up shit and thinks because he's a Christian, oh, my values are over here, but he's acting out something totally different.
And then he's like, oh, but it's okay because I'm going to be redeemed by God tomorrow. Yeah.
I'm gonna go eat a fucking cracker and take a swig off the fucking cup and hope I don't get the flu. So it's all okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll get back
to up, Damon.
But I'd just like to finish that. So I agree with you so much, but there's another way to look at it. If you're a leader and you're not taking after yourself, if your health declines, you can't look after your people. You can't look after your business.
100%.
And I think what happens is with leaders, I think this is the problem. It's like there's always shit to do. And what happens is they focus on that. Now, my thing, going back to that mountain incident or the training I had, is if you can't look after yourself, you can't look after your team. You can't look after anything. You can't look after the business. So your number one priority as a leader should be your own health and well-being.
Yes.
Then it should be your team, not the business, because if you look after your team, they'll look after the business for you. And then last of all, it should be strategy. So that's what I've been working on recently, and it's bizarre. I was in the mountains with my 80-year-old dad and my 11-year-old son, and a guy fell off a cliff, and we were frozen foot up. And
dude,
and my son got out. My dad's 80 years old, who's got no technology experience, gave my son the phone, and my son recorded this rescue. And in the rescue, you can see me looking after myself and putting my anchors in and protecting myself. You can see me looking after the group. So I do a great engagement, great speaking engagement about that. But what I'm trying to do is link it back to leaders to say the most important thing you can do when you wake up is go exercise and work out and look after your health. So I'm on the absolute same page with you. And
100%, brother. And real quick, I just want to say, you'd mentioned there's all that shit to do, right? And people are always, oh my God, I got all this shit to do. Well, when you're fucking a better version of you, that shit gets done more efficiently and you don't get behind on the shit because you've got the focus, you've got the energy, you've got what you need to get your stuff done and not let shit weight you down.
We got shit to do with Damon Clark and our co-host John Anderson, and I'm Keith Billis here, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. Jimmy, let's give Johnny a quick little break. Damon, can you hang out? Damon, can you hang out to the top of the hour with us?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Let's do that. So we're going to keep the conversation going with Damon. We're going to dig into men's emotional intelligence and the skill that's replacing the hustle agenda in life, guys. We're going to keep talking leadership with Damon. I want to talk to Damon a little bit of some mountain guiding stuff. But before we do that, Jimmy, you're going to get me and Damon off stage. Johnny's got a lifestyle tip. He's going to go take a break, and we're going to keep the conversation going. Let's do it, guys. Let's do it. Johnny, you're up, brother.
We're just going to take this one right off of the conversation we're having with our really, really great guest, Damon, who's really talking some good shit here. Because here's the thing. If your motivation is in life is to take care of your loved ones, it's to, be successful. It's whatever these ideas that you have, they require you to be a better you. See, you're only going to get what you're capable of doing. And when you don't care for yourself, you're basically just becoming it's like a boa constrictor, just slowly cutting off your ability to do a good job or a better job. You're either going up or down. So you got to make a choice. Is your life slowly sliding backwards and you're getting older and you're getting more tired and you're getting more out of shape, and you got all these excuses of why it's happening because you don't have time and you don't have this, and you use the word I can't? Or are you going to say, you know what? I'm going to go against the grain and I'm going to take care of myself, and I'm going to do it in a non-selfish way. I'm going to get up early when nobody needs me, even if it's 1 hour. What you can accomplish in 1 hour doing it even 4 or 5 days a week will blow your mind. But if you're one of these people that feels like it's selfish to take care of yourself, you really got to rethink this. You know, the idea of you taking care of the ones you love, that's pretty steadfast. Everybody wants that. Everybody wants to give their loved ones a better life. Well, how are you going to give them a better life if your life is slowly getting worse? You want more, you must become more. You want to take better care of them, you better start focusing on your self-improvement so you can be better, so you can do more, so you can accomplish more, so you can take better care of them. Rock and roll.
Tip of the day, 9:45 Eastern time. 8:45 Eastern time, daily here. Mornings and live with Keith and friends. We're hanging out with Damon Clark, our friend joining us from Massachusetts. Amy Reinhardt, he's just down the road from you. Matthew Roof, he's just down the road from you. Damon Clark's the founder of Talent Optimizers. Good morning, good time. I see you there as well. Good to have you in the lab this morning. I appreciate you. Good time. I always do. And RM Apollo, who is this talking? That's us. Jimmy, Jimmy, let's get Johnny out of here. He's got to go for a break. And then we'll bring Johnny back here in a couple of minutes. Johnny, you're off, brother. We'll bring Johnny back in a couple minutes to keep the conversation going with Damon Clark, the dude who's the founder of Talent Optimizers. We're giving him some hard times right now, guys, with this corporate training stuff and why people are lazy. But Damon's answering it all. He's getting after it. Damon, mountain guiding, We're going to talk a little about guiding. Then I want to talk about emotional intelligence. Damon, talk about what you learned guiding mountains and how you took that back into the corporate world around leadership, because I've climbed a few mountains in my life. I love it. Love the idea around it. Love the accomplishments that go with it. I love the idea of moving one foot in front of the other. And next thing you know, you've achieved your goal. But what's the one thing you've learned as being a mountain guy that's translated the most into being a corporate leader and a talent specialist?
Okay, you put me on the spot here, but I could go a number of directions. But it's funny, I got qualified very quickly, and to get qualified in mountain guiding takes years because you can't rush experience, because when you do your qualifications, they look at your experience, so you can't rush it. But having grown up in the mountains and having a mountain guide father, I kind of progressed quite quickly. And funny enough, I didn't want to be a mountain guide. I like climbing, but I didn't want to be a guide. And my dad was obsessed with trying to make me a mountain guide. And the relationship got so fragmented that, I just would go climbing and not even tell him. And, I moved to Milan. I was climbing the Alps a lot. He didn't even know. And I went to ask if I could borrow some equipment. He said no. And some comments about, we don't loan equipment to non-climbers or something crazy.
Yes.
I was so mad that I booked my instructor's course that weekend. And you're meant to have, you do an assessment, you do a kind of training, and you have a consolidation period. Yeah. And I did my training, and the instructor said, come back next week. You don't need to go away and do anything, because I literally spent my whole life in the mountains. And I got qualified. I met him in the pub, and he said he was complaining about he had to work at the weekend and you're so busy. And I said, I'll do that for you. And he said, you can't, you're not qualified. And I threw down my certificate and said, yes, I am. Anyway, so I did it out of spite. And then from there, I kept on doing more qualifications, and I became, fully qualified. And I think, going back to that question, it's when I go away to a mountain and do a project, it's not for climbing I enjoy. It's for planning, and it's for going somewhere where I'd never normally go. It's an excuse to have an adventure.
Yes.
And in that process, I start training. I have a goal. I start training.
Yes.
I start planning. I start researching. And people think it's kind of crazy, because although I've had some great mountain experiences, I'm very qualified, I've done some great ascents, I'm not an actually obsessed climber. It's just I have to have something in my life to go for, and a purpose. And it doesn't matter if it's sailing, if it's surfing, if it's scuba diving, whatever it is, it's the journey. And I think if I'm going to relate that back to corporate, it's, give yourself a big BHAG, a big hairy.
Absolutely. Yes.
And break that down into milestones and enjoy the journey. So I think that's how I'd kind of answer that question: is set yourself a lofty goal and enjoy the process of getting there.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that answer, and I like that, because when we attach ourselves to a goal, and I'd say I'm the same way, Damon, in many ways with that, which is okay. So I enjoy climbing. I've climbed a few mountains in my life, like I've said before, and I love the entire process of it, right? Setting the goal, analyzing, working backwards from it, and getting after it. Hey, you're hanging out with Keith and John and our guest Damon Clark this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. We're talking leadership. We're talking corporate world. We're talking climbing. We've been talking grass cutting. I want to talk a little bit about men's emotional intelligence, and I want to work it into the boardroom with you, Damon, and into your work. But, men's emotional intelligence, the skill replacing hustle culture in 2025. Men's emotional intelligence is rapidly emerging as the defining skill for success and well-being, overtaking the hustle culture that once dominated workplaces and personal ambitions. Now, this shift reflects broader changes, Damon and Johnny, in how society values work, leadership, and masculinity. Damon, as you're going through, your world and going through talent optimizers and working your way through the corporate workplace, are you seeing this emerge? Is emotional intelligence, emerging now as the core, what's the word I'm looking for, attribute of a leader that people are following more than ever? Damon.
So first of all, the top leaders are really in tune with this stuff. Yeah, you'll notice if you research the top leaders of top organizations, that they're spending time on this for sure. And I think the catalyst on the growth now, again, is probably software and data. So by the way, I'm going through this journey myself, and it's work in progress. We sell, or we provide two solutions around this. We use behavioral science to understand self-awareness and how your working style impacts you. We also do a little bit of neuroscience. So we use something called positive intelligence. And it can identify internal saboteurs. And it's data driven. It comes with an app. And for example, I'm hyper restless and a hyper achiever, and there's some challenges with that which I need to work on. And you can now change the neuro pathways in your head through meditation, and it's data and it's fact and it's science. So we're doing a lot of work with leaders, trying to get them to kind of work and actually spend time working on emotional intelligence. And it's a big growth area, and I think it's a big growth area because we have some data and we've got better science to help us now.
Well, it's interesting, Damon, because Johnny dropped something a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to lean into it again and say it again and again because I just love it. If we as men spent more time on our emotional intelligence than we did on building abs or chests, could you imagine, Damon, how much stronger men would be in society?
It's not even more time. It's not even more time. What I say, Keith always, he brings the things up, but he never spits them out very smoothly. So, but what I say is, if an average man he trained his mind like he trained his chest, he'd have a very different life. And real quick too, Damon, also too, I just want to make sure, I'm totally passionate about what we're talking about. So I'm totally agreeing with you. If it comes across any other way, my apologies, but I'm so passionate about people taking care of themselves first so they can do better everything they do. So we're drinking the same Kool-Aid, brother. And I totally agree with everything you've said. So really good shit.
And I think it needs to be said, Damon, because often, because again, when I come from corporate world and I see the work that, you're doing, Damon, and guys in your industry are doing, and that's why sometimes I think guys like myself or Johnny get frustrated because my assumption or perceptions of corporate is that they focus too much on the details and not too much on just the basic things that can help us get going.
So we track it now. So we have an app that tracks their mental.
Of course you do.
Yeah. So yes, we have a program like a boot camp, an emotional intelligence boot camp, and we have cohort training. It's app based, and we actually track the meditation and the work on working on those emotional intelligence issues, and we can put data behind it. So we said earlier, going back, when you asked me the question on, organizations not putting focus on people as much. I said about data, and I think that's the reason that we couldn't go into that boardroom with people data, but now we can. And this is a good example of people data. We can now, on these cohorts we run, we can tell you exactly how much time they're spending on their mental, emotional intelligence, because it's all app-based and we have the data, we have a dashboard. So, and some leaders who are particularly analytical, they need that. And I have an organization in New York I work with, and the leader typically, and I'll be honest, I typically struggle with this because it's ironic, it's a dichotomy. I'm hyper restless. So the thought of sitting and meditating drives me crazy because I can be doing this, I can be doing that. And so it's so good for me. But this leader was very the same. It's a company who gets minority groups into Wall Street. It's an amazing company. And he was like, this is absolutely, just couldn't do it. But we started working with him, and now 30 minutes every day, he's working on his emotional fitness. And he likes it because there's data. We bring data to how he trains. And that was the game changer for him, is kind of putting an app on it. And just like a Peloton app or whatever, a fitness app, it kind of helps some people.
So Damon, go here with me. So again, something we talk often on the show, and I credit again John for bringing this up. We talk much about feelings. In a world of data, feelings are hard to create something tangible around. Yet, it's a human emotion that creates so much value and tells us so much about the moment at hand. As a corporate leader and in the corporate space, do you think that we should be talking more? So again, I don't want to move away from the data, but encouraging our leaders to have as much awareness around the feeling, because sometimes the feeling is different than the data. And I bring it up because I got a man here who uses data but leans as much into the feelings of an experiment, and I agree with that philosophy as well. I sometimes don't know if we spend enough time talking about the gray areas of a feeling, and I don't mean like feelings as in I'm feeling sad right now.
Well,
I'm talking Johnny,
let me just sneak in there real quick.
Yeah.
Of course I talk about feelings. I chase feelings because feelings then are going to parlay. If you're in a winning mindset, you have a different feeling, which means you're going to make different decisions, which are going to give you different data to quantify. So it's just the difference in the fact that the data is a couple steps later. But when you look at the root, let's just say you've got a group of guys and for whatever reason they're in a losing mindset. They're going to have their confidence is down. Their decision making is different. It's going to give them an outcome versus you got a group of guys that keep themselves in that winning mindset. Their confidence is high. They're making different decisions. They're going to have a different outcome. Well, let's get to the root. The data doesn't really talk about their mindset or the feeling that created that mindset. So let's get to the root of how this whole thing. Stop looking at the fruit or the flower and start looking at the root.
So I can unpick that from a behavioral science point of view. So mindset is slightly different, but I can give you some insight into how feelings evolve and how decisions evolve. So if we see someone in a cafe, why would we think they're in a cafe?
They're hungry or thirsty or hanging out, chilling out.
So that's the answer we get. Now, they could be in the cafe because they're cold. They could need to work. They could be on a date. So what we're seeing is a behavior. What we're guessing at is a behavioral drive. Okay. So we all have drives. So the drive is I'm hungry. I need food. I need the behaviors going to the cafe. So it could be I need internet connection or I need to work. That's the drive. It's to work. I need internet connection. I go to the cafe. Yeah. So when it comes to behavior, we all have inbuilt behavior. So you're either dominant, you can be extrovert, patient. There's lots of things we can measure. If we can assess that behavior, we can predict behavior. So a lot of feelings and decisions come from inbuilt DNA behavior. So again, what we can do now, if we can assess what that behavior is, we can start to understand why people have feelings, why they make decisions a certain way, and then we can start teaching about behavioral stretch. When do we need to stretch, which is uncomfortable? When do we need to play on our strengths? So creating that awareness on your innate behavior can help you adapt. And that was a lot of the really exciting work we're doing with leaders.
So this parlays into what you've been talking about, but let's take that a little further back. Someone's in a cafe, right? And there's a lot of reasons why they could be there, right? So let's just say they don't have a set bedtime. They went to bed way too late. They woke up. They feel like shit. They're in a losing fucking mindset. They're going to try to fix that losing mindset with a big fucking cupcake. So they're going to go to a cafe where they can work and basically feed that losing mindset with a fucking cupcake, which is going to make even a worse mindset, which is going to make a worse work ethic, which is going to make a worse mindset, which is going to make a worse decision, a worse outcome. And it all came from how they felt because they're not taking care of themselves.
And they didn't get to bed on time. So you see how that perpetuates. So I agree with that.
We just got to keep going back. What is it that's creating or is that person up and they're chomping at the bit? Like, you know what? The fucking office doesn't open until 7. The cafe opens at fucking 5. I'm going to go get 2 hours of work and I'm going to have a cup of coffee. So I'm extra focused. That motherfucker went to bed on time. That motherfucker got up and did the shit that took care of him so he could be in that winning mindset. So we're in the cafe. Jesus Christ, we better go much further back to figure out what mindset or what feeling got them there.
And if I play on that, Damon, from Johnny, for example, like an elite, let's use Kobe Bryant, an elite athlete. He was, why can he do it, but the 10 other leaders can't? They got to go to the cafe and have a cupcake, and because they're not like that's where I think guys like John and I struggle, which is why do some people get to bed in good time, get up, don't go to the cafe, have the bad cupcake? You know what I mean? Yet we have so many guys like yourself out there, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but perpetuating this. Well, this is the behavior. No, what's the fucking symptom?
So there's two things angles here. Yeah.
Yes.
So
yes.
Mindset. And that is absolutely as important as anything. It's mindset. I think where I was focused on is using your behavioral strengths and caution areas, because that impacts engagement, which impacts mindset. Yeah. So there's two angles here. There's the working on the mental fitness and the mindset. And the work we do that, and the work I was kind of focusing on there, the cafe incident, is that we have inbuilt natural behavior. We want to use our strengths and we got to use our caution areas. Now, what we see with leaders is if they don't understand that, they become disengaged. Yeah. And then that leads to an unhealthy mindset. So the work we try and do is, okay, what are your innate natural strengths? Let's use them as much as possible. Let's be aware. Let's use some data to get aware of your caution areas. For stuff, maybe, the back of a t-shirt stuff, the stuff you're not quite aware of.
Yes.
And then how do we help you stretch and coach you to stretch? Now, both mindset and both innate behavior results in disengagement and stress and bad habits. So this is a puzzle, and it's trying to kind of get the puzzle together to help these leaders do both. Understand behavior, improve mindset, and that's going to help for a better individual, a better team, a better organization.
I got to be honest, I find it quite fascinating, and I find this conversation fascinating because it's not black and white. Like, I'd like to think it is go to bed in good time, get up, yada yada yada. Like John and Keith perpetuate here on the show, all the don't hit your snooze button. But I like about it, Damon, that it's not that simple for every human, right? And that's the reason why somebody goes and sits in the cafe, and that's the reason why we make our different choices, right? So
and at the start of the show, I don't know if I said this at the start, but I normally say it when I'm talking about what makes a high-performing team and leader, but continuous improvement and commitment to development. Yeah, but particularly, and we do a lot of work with team development as well as individual development, and linking that to it's not easy. There are lots of things that contribute to this. So if we can start with benchmarking where you are now. So if you're a leader, saying, okay, these are all the things we can work on. What's the priority here? Is it mindset? Is it understanding your behavioral strengths and caution areas? Is it being better at strategy? Is it, so starting that journey should start with a kind of benchmark and some data. Then we can start working out, okay, where do we work on first? And that's the approach we like to take. We like to start off by assessing the leader or assessing the team, and then working out where we focus our energy to help them. And John, you're right, but you can't go wrong with starting on, improving mental mindset and fitness and stuff. I mean, that should be a given. That should happen, and we should evangelize that as much as possible.
Well, yeah, and that's literally when I was young, I had all sorts of trouble. You know, I lived my life in a losing mindset. You know, I had a hard time learning, which made me get picked on, which I ran to food for comfort. So after a while of this, I mean, I woke up every morning with the idea that I didn't even know I was repeating the same shit. And I was the guy going to the cafe to get that fucking muffin. I was actually a maple bar was my fucking thing of choice. And that maple bar, all that fucking maple bar did was make my spiral fucking worse.
Yeah.
But because I was waking up, I was a kid, and nobody was helping me understand that, look, you wake up and you've got this little window of time to get yourself in the proper frame of mind where you can make a series of better decisions to have a better day. And if you continue to work on that, you make your decisions slowly get better and better. And that was never, I didn't figure that out until I was in my early 20s.
John, can I ask you a question?
Of course, brother.
That sounds simple. I mean, it sounds simple. Why do people struggle with it?
Well, I think number one, I think that because people just they're sheep. This is what people do. We're programmed. I was programmed. This is what you do. You get up, you do this, you do that. If I was taught to, like, perfect example, I had a wrestling coach when I was in junior high. And he basically, this was in the days where you could put demands on kids and it was okay. He would have us come and run 30 minutes before school. I can't tell you how that fucking changed. Of course, then when it was over, I was a fucking sheep. I stopped doing it. But that 30 minutes of running before school completely changed my life for that period of time during my wrestling season. And that was the first glimpse I got of, whoa, and I wasn't really piecing it all together. But what I'm getting at is that we only did it because we had to. People always go the easy way. They're always doing difficult shit first thing in the day. It, to a certain extent, the general fucking public, it's like they frown upon it because they don't want to do it. You find many people trying to improve themselves, apologizing to the people around them for the work they're trying to put in. It's unbelievable.
We are having an amazing conversation with Damon Clark this morning. Damon, I got to be honest with you, brother. I didn't know where it was going to go today when we got into conversations around team building and human building and emotional intelligence. But dude, thoroughly enjoying this. I really am, because it's not
a great conversation, bro.
It is, because it's what I like about it, Damon, is that it's not just a straight line from A to B. That's what I love, because there's conversation, there's discourse, there's different ways to interpret it, right? And we're talking behavioral science, and John and Keith are trying to lean into why not the symptoms, right? And I love it.
Oh, bro, the crazy thing that we haven't recognized here is we talk about how difficult it is to get people to do this uphill shit.
Yes.
Well, Damon's talking about bringing all of these concepts into. That's what he does. Getting people to do this stuff in a corporate setting when it's. I mean, I live in the same world. The difference is that I'm working with individuals that I select individually, and as to where I would assume you go into a corporate, or you're getting a group of people, you're getting everybody in that fucking group, whether they're wanting to change or not. And if someone doesn't want to change, it's like an alcoholic that doesn't believe he's got a problem.
Bingo. Damon Clark built high-performing teams for some of the biggest names in tech, Dell, Acer, HubSpot. He's now the founder of Talent Optimizers. I got a feeling, Jimmy, we're bringing him back, because it took him a few minutes to figure out the tech, but I think we'll have to bring Mr. Clark back in the future.
But real quick, the last thing I want to say on that is, Damon, you're doing great work, because you've got the people that will follow, you've got the people that won't, but you've got to work with them all. So I can imagine that, the task that you have to get done what you want to get done, you're going to have to come at that in so many different languages, so to speak, because not everybody's going to hear what, they're all going to listen to different shit. So I just think what you're doing is amazing stuff, brother.
Well, and Johnny, if I look at a guy like Damon, he's got more patience than I couldn't even imagine. Because Damon, I don't know how you go into some of these corporate environments and do the coaching and the data setting with folks and not just get into why did you fucking get to bed last night and not hit the snooze button today? And you know, it's just, and I know I'm simplifying it.
When they're looking at him going, this fucking guy's lost his mind. Who goes to bed? Who has an alarm to set to go to bed?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying, Damon?
Yeah. So, I mean, I've just got back from North Carolina doing a big team session with an organization, but and that's the fun part. I love doing that. I'm behaviorally hardwired to do stuff like this, but I'm going to be honest. I get to do the boring stuff as well. So typically when we work in an organization, you know, we go in, we do the employee surveys, we do, you know, a team analysis, and then we basically build a people strategy to support a business strategy. So our job is to make sure the teams and the people can execute the strategy. And then we kind of plan out what we need, and then kind of bring in trainers and, you know, whatever the software or the solutions needed. So, you know, I enjoy the fun stuff. I enjoy getting in front of leaders and doing all the team sessions, but I also have to do the boring stuff and all the planning and all that kind of stuff as well.
I love it, Damon. Damon, let's do some rapid fire, brother, before we walk out of here and get you on with your day. Damon Clark joining us all the way from Massachusetts this morning. Damon, let's do it, brother. Most surprising insight you've learned from people analytics.
Oh, okay.
People are lazy?
No, leaders behaviorally have to stretch. You don't start off being a little CEO and become a big CEO. You come from a very different job. So maybe you're in finance and you got to be comfortable with selling when you become a CEO. So understanding leadership behavioral stretch is the, you know, a big thing we work on, and is very useful to understand.
I'm intrigued by that. And when I have you back, I want to talk about that leadership stretch idea. Because when I think about stretching, it's Wednesdays for me. I spent 30 minutes stretching this morning, but I like how you're leaning into getting leaders to stretch their leadership, right? So if I'm thinking what you're saying is, if you're a CEO of a 100-person company, I'm going to teach you how to stretch those leadership skills so you can become a CEO of a 500-person company or a 1,000-person company.
Not so much. Yes, we do that, but more the fact, if you're a sales director become a CEO, maybe you're not going to be so comfortable with numbers because you're not hardwired.
Yes.
Typically, sales leaders are proactive, comfortable with ambiguity, they're risk takers, connect. Then they're going to have to spend time looking at data and understanding that. So that behaviorally, they're not hardwired to do it. That's like putting a right-hand person in a left-hand person's job.
Yes.
So CEOs have to behaviorally stretch, and it's uncomfortable and it's hard. And that's a great area to kind of dig into and understand.
Interesting. A book that changed how you think about leadership, Damon Clark.
Probably either 5 Dysfunctions of the Team by Patrick Lencioni, or Traction, the EOS framework, strategy framework by Gino Reisman.
Well, Traction's come up twice this week, actually. Surprising. Behavior trait you see in all, here's a good one. Behavior trait you see in all great team leaders.
Listening.
Ooh, good one. Good one. Good one. That's great. One place in the world you'd love to train a team, Damon.
Or, I mean, I should go back to UK to do it. To train the team as in the location.
Yeah.
My favorite places. I'd love Barcelona. Obviously, I know all the good places in London to go, so I'll probably get that. But I love Boulder, Colorado, and Bend, Oregon. But I'm probably just going to do London as an excuse to get back there.
You'll appreciate this, Damon. I took 2 of my executives a couple of years back. We climbed Volcan Baru together in Panama. On the way down, I conducted their annual performance reviews after we accomplished the climb. So that just tells you who I am as CEO.
Bizarrely, I don't do much. I mean, getting people into the mountains is just amazing for leadership, you know, and that mindset and all that. And I should do more of it. Maybe that's going to be on my plan for next year.
Most overused buzzword in corporate training.
Synergy.
Yeah, I fucking hate that one. And last one. If every company in the world could copy, if every company in the world could only adopt one behavior from your training programs, what would it be and why?
Strategic mindset. Because most leadership teams are too tactical. They're not working on the business, they're working in the business, and carving out time to be more strategic, particularly looking after people, will help organizations thrive quicker and better.
Damon Clark, high-performing sales and marketing leader, joining us all the way from Massachusetts today. Damon, I'm really grateful for your time today, brother. How can folks connect with you, find you, meet you, engage with you, hire you? Take a moment, please. Tell our audience, our community, the Mornings in the Lab community, how they can learn more from Damon Clark.
Sure, you can visit talentoptimizers.com and you can do a Google search on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We got a great YouTube channel called PI Hacks. That's quite specific to a software we sell, which is on behavioral science, which is just probably the best software out there in the market to align teams of strategy and understand strengths and caution areas in terms of behavior. But yeah, Google Talent Optimizers and you will find me.
Awesome. Damon, you've been a great guest, man. I hope you've had as much time. Well, I hope you've had as much fun with us as we've had with you. And I hope you'll come back sometime, brother.
It would be a pleasure.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, Damon, you get out of here, my friend. You have yourself a great day. Get after it. Stay away from the heavy, shitty carbohydrates throughout the day today. It's going to kill you, man. And get your rest in, get your sleep, get your water in, get your lift in, take care of yourself. And hey, Damon, make sure you check your nuts at some time today, brother. We don't want to have any testicular cancer happening for our guests, my friend.
I've already done it during the show, and I'll do it again after.
Beautiful. Good.
There we go.
Yeah, you're awesome, Damon. Damon Clark joining us all the way from Massachusetts today. One of our great guests here this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. All right, Jimmy, let's get him out of here. And I'm suspecting my brother Johnny's got to get out of here too. What's up, creature? Hello, Doctor Strange, Hulk, and Deadpool. You all look like those superheroes. Yes. We got my brother Johnny here. That was good, man. I enjoyed that. You know, and I enjoyed it because it was so not typical what we have here in the lab, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, man. Because it's because you and I obviously drink the same Kool-Aid, and what I liked about what Damon was talking about is that from our point of view, it's like he was getting to the behavior science side of, and I liked you kept going, but what about the symptoms? What about the symptoms? And I love that because I don't think we as humans talk enough about that. I know AJ would agree with us because which is, well, you're suffering at work because something's happening at home. You're not going to bed early enough. Yeah. As simple as that, right?
I totally. I mean, I love everything he's doing.
Yeah,
and I just think to myself, like, you know, I work with people on an individual basis that I select. But if I was in some sort of a group, now you're having to figure out somehow, some way, this methodology that's going to somehow move the group. And
I know,
and it's from corporate, so it's almost like it's like he's somehow making this work within a certain framework as to where I don't work. The framework is mine. You know what I mean? And so
I do not have the patience. I could not have the patience of what Damon does. I just couldn't because I'd get in front of a group of 6 people and I'd be like, fuck, did you get to bed last night? No. Well, then fuck, go home and go back to bed. Did you eat your protein today? No. Well, then fuck, go eat your protein to get your lift in today. No. Well, then go get your fucking lift in. Like these basic things. Yeah. Because that's why you're suffering, motherfucker. Because you're not taking care of your human first.
I would think that the corporate is just got all of these beliefs.
What I mean? Yeah.
To pierce these fucking beliefs, like, holy Christ.
Yes.
You know, it's hard enough to fucking pierce an individual's beliefs.
Yes.
So when you got individual beliefs hiding behind corporate, you got 2 different fucking veils to pierce.
Yeah. Well, that's why I got nothing but respect for what he does, man. Guys like that, because that's because you're right. You're swimming upstream. And then once you think you're just getting in the right direction, there's another barrier in front of you, right? It's just, and the patience you got to take with that, and the politics you got to navigate that, and the different personalities. No, thank you. That's why I was like, dude, you do that. I'll learn from you, and we'll just keep learning from you and bring you back for others, man. So, hey, what do you got going on today, pal? I know you had a big clean, you had some clean dish. So what do you got going on today in the gym? A rest day today, recovery day, a big lift day?
No, I've actually got one more training day, and then we're packing up because tomorrow I'll actually have to be a little short on the show because we're actually heading back to California tomorrow morning.
Oh, beautiful. Good for you guys. Yeah, getting back tomorrow, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so we're traveling tomorrow. So today is basically, you know, a fairly normal day. It takes a few hours to get everything kind of locked up because we won't be back here till probably sometime in the second week of September.
Nice. Oh yeah, there you go. Awesome. All right, so what do we got here? We got Creature and Booty coming in with, I'm about to complete my graduation and ready to get it in corporate. Good for you, Creature. I applaud your goals, your journey, and I would invite you to consider that if it doesn't work out in corporate, The idea, the lifestyle you can build for yourself is it could be equally as beneficial and equally as rewarding. So, but I wish you all the luck, my brother. All right, Johnny, we're gonna get you out of here. You have an awesome day, pal.
You got it. Have a good loop, my brother. I'll see you in the morning.
You betcha. All right, Jimmy, let's get Johnny out of here. Let's keep the show rocking and rolling, Jim. I know we got Nick Hashemi joining us in a number of minutes. I think, Jimmy, Nick's joining us from Thailand this morning. He's a monk joining us from Thailand today. I am going to press a button to bring some music into the lab to reset hour 2. Yeah, exactly, Jimmy. That was exactly my thought. That was exactly my what's the word I'm looking for? Exclamation when I saw where he was joining us from. But hey, how about this, Jimmy? Oh! There we go. Welcome back to Mornings at the Lab with Keith and Friends, hour 2, bottom of the hour of hour 2. We're getting after it today, guys. Men's emotional intelligence, the skill that's replacing hustle culture. We had Damon Clark on the show as well, talking about leadership, talking about teams and team training, and a lot of great conversations with Damon. If you guys are just joining the show, I invite you to go back and tune in. We really leaned into why teams fail and some of the things like that. So I'd invite you to go back to that conversation with Damon. We got into the accountability check-in this morning as well. We kicked the show off with a big conversation about this controversial sport that's here to stay. Go check that out at the beginning there. Essentially, it's two guys running into each other. Boom. Kid died. True story over in Melbourne. Unfortunate story. I'd invite you guys to check that one out. Yeah, that's what's it called? What's it called, Jimmy? You're running into each other. What the hell is that sport called? The right way or something? You know what I am going to do, Jimmy? Before we bring in Nick Hashemi, I want to have a conversation with all of you guys about run it straight. Yeah, that's what it was. I do want to have a conversation with you guys about forgetting followers, and here's what it really takes to create influence in 2025. Listen, we're moving into a world of AI content all over the place. A lot of fake people, a lot of fake bots, a lot of fake things here and there. And I am, where we go here? Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to find my notes. And I want to talk a little bit about followers and what really is going to make you influential in 2025. We were talking emotional intelligence earlier, but I'm going to pull this one up here. And let me see here, guys. It is, why is it not popping up? Oh, there it is right there. All right, so let's go here, guys. Let's get into this. It starts like this. You ever wonder why having thousands of followers, guys? You ever wonder why having thousands of followers doesn't guarantee influence anymore? Today, I want to unpack some surprising new signals that truly define influence in 2025 and why your follower count might just be the least important metric you should, might be, or could be tracking. Understanding these critical signals, Jimmy, can transform your approach, helping you create deeper connections, boost genuine engagement, and dramatically increase your real-world impact, professional and personally. So, guys, let's get into it. You see a lot of folks with these big follower accounts. Yeah. I'm going to invite you to consider that much of it is fake. So I come from world social media, built social media company back in the olden days, back in the early 2000s, had a wonderful exit in 2011. So I know a few things about social media. I know a few things about the game. I know a few things about follower accounts. I know a few things about community and moderation and community management and the whole social media game. So let's spend some time talking about what really makes you influential in 2025. And guys, Jimmy, we should fucking have a drum roll for this one. I'm going to see if I don't think I have a drum roll here. No, I do not have a drum roll. But guys, what's going to drive your influence in 2025 in the future is one simple thing: engagement rate. Small engaged communities often deliver more impact than larger passive audiences. You know, have you looked around at somebody like, yeah, that person's got 1 million followers. He's got 100,000 followers. He's got 50 million followers, but there's nobody engaging. It's because most of them are bots. You know, social media is not what it was today as it was 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 3 years ago, right? I would argue it's as much, let's just call it media today. It's less and less social. We're using less of the follower graph. We're using more of the interest graph, right? So while we want to lean into followers to create optics for folks and to continue to sufficiently perpetuate the vanity of what's around us, because there's still marketers out there that want to see that. But the reality is, guys, the influence is coming absolutely from your engagement. What else is coming from is your content quality and relevance. Algorithms are rewarding engaging, useful, or entertaining content regardless of follower counts. So guys, I hear this comment often. The algorithm's not working. No, your content fucking sucks. True story. There's so much content in the world now. If your content sucks, it's not the algorithm sucking, it's your content sucking. So just pause and slow down and focus on creating better, more engaging content. So what happens often is that nobody's engaging with my content. I got a bunch of fake followers and I'm failing at it all. Yeah, it's because nothing's real, right? Trust and community depth, authentic relationships, and credibility are the new currencies of influence. So let me say that again to you guys. Trust, community depth, and authentic relationships are the new currencies of influence. And influence is perceived as autonomous and selective, and who they follow are now viewed as more credible. So guys, here's what I would encourage you to consider. Action-based metrics, real-world outcomes like click-through rates, conversion rates, and brand affinity are prioritized. More so than, the guy's got 5,000 followers. With Shaking Good Time, I see the drums. Hot tubs and women seem to bring the views. Yeah, it's true. Hot tubs and women absolutely bring the views to our show. Audience demographics and fit. The alignment of audience and brand goals is crucial, making niche targeting increasingly effective. Going back to the comment, guys, if your content sucks, your engagement's going to suck. Chris Critchram coming. Yeah, everyone is creating content now. You need to have an X factor in your content to rise. It is so true, right? So whether it's your personality, and often people are like, what's your niche? Well, maybe your niche is you, right? So don't be afraid to lean into that. As we're talking about, here's what really makes you influential in 2025. It's less about the number of followers, guys, and it's more about how you are driving engagement with your content. So I would encourage you all, that influence today is about quality over quantity. Embrace these new metrics, build genuine connections, and guys, watch your true influence grow. And ask yourself this question: would you rather have 1 million followers and a little bit of engagement, or would you rather have 100 followers and all 100 engaged? That's the question for all my marketers out there, especially as we go through a world emerging from a bunch of fake followers and vanity metrics to a world of reality and authentic relationships. Okay, Jim, listen, I see we got Nick Hashemi in the lab waiting for us. So what I think we're going to do, Jimmy, I'm going to pivot my camera over here. And Jim, I'm going to get my notes ready to bring in Nick Hashemi. Jimmy. Oh, I see that. Yeah. Nick, we got to get you in the horizontal too, brother. We want to get you up on the horizontal feed as well. I see you on the vertical feed. I see him coming up there, Jim. So guys, a couple weeks back, we celebrated this guy, Nick Hashemi, former Buddhist monk who went from burnout and booze to inner peace and purpose. The guy spent 16 hours of meditation in a single day, lived with almost nothing, and now helps high performers like you find clarity without walking away from their lives. We're going to dig into ancient wisdom, modern burnout, and what it literally means to find peace in the chaos. You guys are going to want to hang around for this one. Do you even want to join the Mornings in the Lab community? $2, $10, $20. Good time. Still trying to figure out how to get you a gift subscription. Jimmy, let's make a mental note. We got to figure out how we can give a gift subscription to our brother Good Time. One of our originals there. Of course, we got Adam Holright in the community. I appreciate you, Adam. I appreciate you a lot, brother. I know you're tuning in and listening right now, so I appreciate you. Lady Drew, I appreciate you as well. You show up here daily. You're always contributing to the community. I appreciate all of you guys. Katreem, I appreciate you showing up as well this morning. Jason Brophy. And like I said, guys, I invite you to check out our Mornings in the Lab community and join if you feel like it's something you want to contribute to. All right, Jim, let's do it. Without further ado, let's bring in our guest coming up here in a second. He used to own businesses, he used to chase success and drink to escape it all. Yeah, until he gave it all up to become a monk. Now he's showing high performers how to trade anxiety for presence without quitting their careers. This morning, Mornings in the Lab, as part of the Community Corner, is excited to introduce you to our friend, Nick Hashemi. Nick!
Hi, kid. Thanks for having
What's going
me.
on, my brother? How are you, pal? I'm so fucking happy you're here, and I'm so excited to meet you in person. You know,
I can hear that.
We've been engaging on LinkedIn.
Dude,
We've been engaging on LinkedIn.
The energy in this show is. Sorry, you go on.
No. I've been engaging with you on the LinkedIn platform. I love your content. I love your story. I love where you come from, dude. Can you tell I'm a fan? And the fact that we're hanging out here together, I'm so grateful for that. So thanks for joining me this morning in the lab, brother.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, really. And I love what you're doing.
Thank you so much. Thailand, eh? Thailand.
Yeah, man. I've been here for 6 years now, more.
So I talked.
It was one of.
Go ahead, please. We're a little bit of a delay, so I'll do better at getting a pause. So go ahead, please.
Yeah, it was one of those runaways when I left everything back home in Sweden, and I was like, I can't do this shit anymore because I had a company and I had everything, and I just ran away to this country just like with two suitcases. That's all. I packed it up and just came here, and no plans. And wow. I mean, later on, I just found out that I was running for myself. So you can't run.
Running from myself. Hey, that's so it was an epiphany then. So let's go here, brother. So, you talk about a life of booze, and I'm going to assume a life of bad decisions. I'm assuming a life, mornings of what the hell am I doing? So I'm making some assumptions here. You packed up your suitcases, you headed over to Thailand, and where in that journey did you look in the mirror, Nick, and realize that your human was the one who was lost?
I think that when my divorce happened, I divorced my wife for, was it a couple of years ago? When I was in Thailand. So that was when everything crashed. So, I mean, I had no money, I had no wife, I had no home, just rock bottom. I had to sell my wedding ring to have money for the rent and food, So wow. When you get to that level, you kind of wake up. It was like, okay, dude, you have two choices: drown or swim. Which one do you pick? And I mean, I'm a warrior, so it's like the drowning part was even in the picture from start. I never actually thought of that. I mean, the thought crossed my mind, but it's like, no way, man. What are you talking about? Let's swim.
Yeah.
So I've been swimming the last 2 years constantly with a lot of discipline, and and my biggest non-negotiable was to become the best version of myself, and I'm going to keep on going until the day I live. So I mean, it's never ending story, right? And I've been working on myself, as John said. I mean, I was listening to his show, and John said that so beautifully. Like, you have to take care of yourself and stop being a victim. God damn it, and don't blame others. It's only you. It's always you. It's always you. So take care of you, and then when you take care of you, you can take care of others.
Yeah. So this is awesome. What then, Nick, in your experience working with other high performers and coaching folks and meeting with folks, Nick, what's the most common lie that not only you told yourself, but that high performers tell themselves before they burn out?
It's pretty simple. They think that they're the Superman, I mean, I thought we were Superman. We thought we have all our lives, and they just postpone this decision, and then they don't take care of their health, mental health, physical health, and they keep telling themselves this lie that I'm good. No way, man. I get a vacation somewhere there in the front, in the future. and this nonstop running around, not knowing what you're doing, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I did it 49 years. I was 49 years. I ran around and ran companies and had the titles, you name it. But at the end of the day, I didn't know I didn't know what I was doing. What's my purpose? What am I doing here? So all these questions that kind of pops up, and unfortunately, this is the truth. Unfortunately, most of the people, they take care of themselves when they already have crashed.
Yes. Good morning, Jamie Newstead. I see you there in the comments. Good morning, brother. Good to have you on the show here this morning. Hold on, Nick. Jimmy, did you hear what I heard? I got to make sure I heard this correctly. Did you say for 49 years you were working in court, like 49, like 4049?
Yep.
Dude.
I'm 51 now.
I was just going to say, like, are you 51?
Yeah.
Dude, you look exceptional.
I mean, to be honest, these last 2 years, I've been so strict with everything, with my food, my health, my gym, meditation. I mean,
it
you kind
shows.
of feel rejuvenated. You feel rejuvenated. I mean, happy. And that temple was like,
Yeah.
So I mean, if you take care of this guy,
yeah,
the rest will follow.
I love it. So Nick, you said purpose, and I want to lean into this with you for a second because I had a awesome guest on the show last week. JK, Jonathan Roofy, help me, brother. I know you're listening right now. Jonathan Kaminsky, Kowalski, JK. He reframed purpose for me so eloquently, and I want to throw it to you, and I want to get your perspective on it. So he was a pro baseball player, wonderful pro life, woke up on a Monday going, holy fuck, my career's done, my purpose is gone. And he found himself lost. Ooh, so he reframed it for me, which I really enjoyed and I've been leaning into. He's now thinking about potential over purpose. Because his belief is, and it's hard, and I think it's hard to argue with, Nick, that if we're always chasing, Kalinowski, thanks guys. Holroyd, he's coming. I love my community. Just tell me who it is, because he's coming in with this idea of if we continue to wake up chasing our potential instead of our purpose, Nick, as we go through life, different things happen. We adopt different identities. We adopt different scenarios. One day you're divorced, one day you weren't, different careers, but your potential, can always continue to rise. So I really enjoyed when he said to me, Keith, I invite you to reconsider purpose over potential, because maybe if we're chasing potential, we can always have the purpose that comes next. Does that make sense, Nick? And what's your point of view on that?
Totally. It's just we reframe it to that, and I ask you another question.
Yeah.
What do you really want? What the people? What that purpose? Where did it get you? Where did it get you? That potential. Where did it get you? I mean, what's the end goal? What do you want?
Yes.
What do you really want? Right?
Yes.
So potential or purpose, or call it whatever you want, we're doing something to reach something, right? Because I go deeper. I tell you that purpose, potential, whatever, we all are doing these things for one thing only, and that's to reach happiness. You want to be happy. If you ask yourself why enough with times, you'll reach to that. Why do I go to work? Why do I do this? Why do I make money? Everything we do is for you, Keith, to be happy.
Yeah.
That's what we're searching for in life. So, I agree. I mean, potential is something else, because I started to chase my potential. I want to be the best version of myself. That's my potential. That's not my purpose. Is totally different. My purpose is like helping people and all that.
Yes.
But to help people, you need a potential.
That's right.
You can put it like that too.
Yeah. Nick, so let's keep going here then. You're coaching somebody maybe tuning in right now. What or somebody who's lost or stuck or who's kind of in a rut, for lack of a better term. What would be one small daily practice that you would recommend for someone who wants to start this journey?
Isn't that obvious? I mean, everybody who knows me knows what I'm going to say, and it's meditation, of course.
Yes.
It's a beautiful tool. It's I tell you what, Keith. I mean, I've been running around my life, and I've been reading, and I've been studying, and I've been talking the heads of people, and all that knowledge that I gained on these 49 years, the wisdom I gained by sitting still in a cave with nothing was 10 times more than these 49 years of gaining knowledge or whatever. Because the wisdom you gain about yourself and life, that is, you can't find it just like by going reading books. You have to sit with your mind and you have to like challenge it. You got to corner your mind, and your mind knows this. So it's that's why 95% of the people, they can't meditate, cannot sit still in 5 minutes, because the mind's like, no, we're not doing this. Let's get up. I want to be in the future. I want to be in the past. Come on, give me something to work on. Data.
You've meditated for 16 hours in a single day, and I've got to think you've done it more than once.
The thing is, oh yes, go ahead. Sorry.
What was the thing the first time you accomplished that? What stuck most for you at the end of that meditation experience? How hard it was, how easy it was, what was surprising about it?
Clarity and joy.
Oh. Elaborate.
Yeah, clarity and joy. Because I mean, and when I did 16 hours, first of all, I have to be honest that it was not 16 hours in one sit. It's impossible. It was 1 hour sitting, 1 hour walking, because in Vipassana, we do 1 hour walking and then we have to follow it up with 1 hour sitting. And I was doing this 1 hour sitting, 1 hour walking all day, just eating some lunch, going back, doing 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour. So 24 hours, I did 16 hours that day. And when I went to my master, he's like, because he was like, he'd supervise you without supervising you. He knows exactly what you're doing every day. So he's like, so how many hours did you meditate yesterday? I was like, 16. I said, I know. He's like, I know. He's like, okay, now you're not human anymore.
We're hanging out with Nick Hashemi joining us from Thailand today. Nick's journey, guys, is the exact opposite of hustle culture. But his audience is filled with high achievers who've realized that hustle wasn't the answer. Nick blends ancient Buddhist teachings with modern ADHD diagnosis and tech, making him one of the few mindfulness mentors deeply rooted in both Eastern and Western frameworks. And despite being an intro to mindfulness for many, Nick's message isn't surface level, calm. Guys, it's about practical presence and deep transformation. Nick joining us all the way from Thailand here today. Nick, you're writing a book. Tell us about your upcoming book and what's the core message that you're writing toward?
I'm writing a book about parts in my life, retelling my story, of course. And the main purpose of the book is to teach people how to live mindful lives. So it's mindful living kind of blueprint. So it's useful for you to, it's kind of how to live a mindful life in your daily lives. And that's the core message of it. So, but I mean, I put some background on me so people can kind of recognize themselves. Some people are something like that.
That's
so
awesome.
that's because a lot of people kind of write books about their lives, but I mean, I wanted to give something. I wanted to leave something behind. So maybe sometime in the future, people still read that book. I don't know.
Nick, what advice would you give yourself to the version of yourself just before everything collapsed, just before you packed your bags and went to Thailand? What advice would you be saying to yourself if you looked back, Nick?
Tough question, because I'm rarely in the past, so I have to think.
I know. You know what's funny is that not funny. What's sincere is I believe that because the skills when you've trained yourself is, I'm suspecting you don't spend much time in your brain looking backwards. You're always looking forward or being present. Am I correct?
You're totally correct, Keith. And the thing is that the future and the past is this illusion. It doesn't exist. It's just thin air. What is it? Where's the future? Can you show the future to me now? Where is it?
Do you think we're living in a simulation, Nick? See, I'm serious.
Oh my God! Yes. After thousands of hours of meditation, I believe we do. I mean, we're just like a program. We're like, AI is a program. We are a program too. We program a new program called AI, and he might take over. So, who says that that's not what's happening? You don't know that. So, and I love the movie Matrix, and we talked about Matrix a lot in the temple because it's such a nice. It's a documentary. I mean, it's like it kind of explains everything so well, non-duality. So both of the writers on the Matrix were non-duality guys. So that's why it's so interesting. So yeah, I believe that we live in a simulation.
Hanging out with Nick Hashemi, who just proclaimed, Jimmy, The Matrix is a documentary. Whoop. Baby, dropping some nuggets in the lab this morning with Nick Hashemi. Guys, let's do some quick hits, some rapid fire before we get to the creator spotlight. Because Hashemi, I got to be honest with you, brother. I'm going to be really frank with you right now. If I don't pivot our conversation at this moment, you and I are here for a few hours.
I know. It's usually end up that way.
Because I'm loving this. I'm loving every second of it.
Yeah, man.
I got my producer over here looking at me. I can see his he's actually in the Philippines. I could just feel his eyes glaring at me going, Billis. I go, I know. We got to move on. So he's just typing going, yeah.
Feel the same, brother. It's interesting. Yeah.
Nick, let's do a rapid fire. And then I'm going to make a promise to you. I want you to come back.
All right. Sure, man.
And we're going to have a longer chat. You're dropping nuggets, brother. Let's get into it. All right, rapid fire with Nick Hashemi. Boom. Monk robes or business suits?
Monk robes.
Yeah. Last time you completely lost your patience. Oh, I like this one.
Ooh. A year and a half ago.
Oh, tell me where and when and what happened.
It was just a stupid thing with my friends. So it was nothing. But I mean, I have this very close relationship with one of my best friends, and it's like, it's mess around. And I couldn't let the stupid thing happen. Anyway, I just lost it. And then the awareness took over. So it was gone.
Here's the hook. We're hanging out with Nick Hashemi, the monk who lost his patience.
Before I was a monk, though.
There you go. Most powerful book you've read recently. And no, I'm not an author, so it wasn't my book, Nick.
It's actually the gold dust is from a master in a temple, a monk. I can send you this later if you want to see what it is.
Yeah.
But it's a lot about Buddhism and awareness and vipassana. Collecting the gold dust. That's what it's called. Collecting
the gold dust. The most powerful book Nick Hashemi's read recently. Next up on our rapid fire, Nick, go-to grounding habit when your mind starts spinning. Meditation?
Yeah. I was like, too obvious.
And then here's the last one for you, brother, before I get to the real last one. But Nick, what's the biggest misconception, the biggest, that people have when they hear meditation?
It's the sitting in hours and hours and hours and hours and just don't moving and sitting and don't moving for hours. And also misconception. It's also like, I don't know if it's a misconception, but a lot of people say this is not for me. It's not for me.
Yeah.
This is not for me.
I've spent time meditating, and I still do, throughout my course of my days. What I think the biggest, my own personal I think people's misconception, Nick, is that people think it's boring. But where I see it on its head is that if you create intention with your awareness of the moment, there's nothing boring going on. Because if it's actually boring to you, you need to go look in the fucking mirror and be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Because life isn't boring. So that's why, Nick, from my POV, and I those who listen to me regularly know how I feel about this. Humans are naturally scared of the word intention, because when we're intentional, we have to follow through with it, right? So if I'm sitting down and intentionally meditating, holy fuck, that's effort. Well, I don't want to put effort into, Nick. What do you mean I gotta sit here and intentionally think? I just don't want to do that, right? And I think that's often why people say it's not for me. No, it's not for you because you're a scared motherfucker of being intentional. That's what it is. You're scared to be intentional because you're afraid that intention, because what happens, like, with intention, it has a result. And sometimes that result is not good. So, and I think that's why humans are often so scared of intention.
Yeah. It's a little bit deeper than that. And it's also true. But why you say it's boring, why you want to say intention, is because your brain doesn't want to do it, because your brain cannot exist in the present moment. So, for example, if I ask you now, what's the next thing you're going to think of? What is the next thing you're going to think of? What is the next thing you're going to think? Your brain kind of freezes because it's like, wait a minute, give me data. I need to have data to work on. So in the present moment, it doesn't have any data. It's happening like this. Begin, end, begin, end, begin, end. It doesn't have the time to focus. So it hates to be in the present moment. It always wants to be in the future and the past. That's why you can't sit down and do the meditation, because your mind tells you, don't do that, man. I can't breathe. You're going to kill me.
Yeah.
That's why. But at the same time, we always thought the meditators in our temple it's like a key. Intent has to be there. It's very, very important. So before any meditation, before the start, you have to tell yourself, I intend to be mindful of my body and mind in the present moment. For 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, when you give that command to your brain, then it kind of locks in. You just sit there and do it. It's the magic key, we call it.
Man, Nick,
Makes sense?
Absolutely, it does. Yeah, absolutely. I'm digesting your words right now. I'm intentionally being in the moment, and I think that's why I'm good at what I do. And I'm not just tooting my own horn, but when I'm here on my show for 2 hours, I am in the moment. I'm intentional. I'm paying attention. I'm listening. I'm aware. And there's times, Nick, when the show's over, I don't even know what happened. Like, honest to God.
Yeah.
Like,
you know why? Because you love it. You love what you're doing. That's right.
I do 100% because I know we're making good content and we're helping men out there. So when the show's over, to me this is like being in a meditation, Nick, because I'm in the moment. I have awareness, right? And I think that's something that we, maybe that's the way we spin that word for humans who don't want to meditate, which is more like, no, get into something you really enjoy doing, and maybe you're actually meditating and you don't even realize you're meditating, right? So
yes, true.
Yeah. Nick,
because it's all about to have the mind to focus on the present moment. Everything that we do with this vipassana meditation, this and that, it's only because you want to bring yourself back to the present moment, so you don't let the brain just fly off the future or go to the past.
Yeah, well, you know what John's taught me too about the present moment, Nick, and I've gotten really good at it. Just spending time on the show with John is again using the present moment to respond instead of react when a situation arises, because I was of the ilk where I would respond and rah, right, which was, and then in the moment the emotion gets ahead of you, and next thing you know, everything just gets out of whack. So I've been really intentionally creating awareness about, in the moment, what are my words, how am I going to respond, so I don't have to react, because your words don't have control over me, right? And I think, and that's been a game-changing habit that I have worked into my world, right? Being present, be in the moment, respond instead of react. And those simple things, Nick, have been really much a game changer for me, brother.
Yeah, and I think the reason is your self-awareness has like risen a lot.
Yes.
Because
yes.
self-awareness is the highest leverage tool we have. So if you get that up by meditation, by whatever you're doing, then you kind of step aside and start to look at your behavior, how you speak, how you walk, how you talk. So it's so cool. It's so amazing. So self-awareness is amazing. And you had some poll you sent up, and awareness was one of them, I think. And I would say that's the most important. That's the mother of all of them.
Yeah. Global, I see your comments there, Global. I see your comment a lot. And you say, chat is my meditation. Global, so is mine sometimes, actually. It's not uncommon for me to open up my chat, on my phone and engage with somebody, or even to this point, I'll be frank and say even it's AI from time to time where I can just get stuff out of my brain. Right. So, Global, how to say most with least words. And I'm with you there, Global, because when I'm using my fingers to talk, I am finding ways to create awareness around those words to create meaning. So I'm with you there. And that's a great comment. Nick, closing question for you, brother, before we get to the creator spotlight with you. And I love this one, so I want you to lean into it. If peace really is power, what's one thing you wish that every person chasing success would understand, Nick Hashemi, before it's too late?
I don't get the question. Please go again. Sorry.
Yeah. If peace really is power, meaning that, when we are at peace, that's really the power that we have.
Yeah.
What's the one thing that you wish every person chasing success, the guys you're coaching, the women you're coaching, the humans you're hanging out with that are chasing, what do you wish that they would understand before it's too late as they're chasing their path towards success?
Good question. Tough one.
It is a tough one, isn't it? That's why I liked it, because when we link, I'm sorry to interrupt, but when we work peace into the question, which is why I really enjoyed it and which I thought was appropriate for you and I, is that we as humans know that peace really is the power. Because Nick, I have been this guy chasing, and not at peace with myself or at peace with the process. So I guess, what would you tell me before shit would go sideways for me?
I think that you have to do whatever you can to create peace in the mind, because if you create peace in the mind, it creates power in the world collectively. So not only you, everyone, peace in the mind creates power in the world. That's my message.
Yeah, I like that. That's solid stuff. Global comes back with, one has to embrace the breath of each step to the future. I like that. And as Nick talks about, being present in the moment, but I think what Global is saying here, Nick, if I can maybe take some words out of your mouth, which would be, as you're taking those steps towards the future, it's having that awareness about being in the moment, isn't it, Nick? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, listen, this is the part of the show where we like to take the big old light that I gave to Nick a couple weeks ago. We celebrated Nick in the community corner, the creator spotlight. And then how this works is I invited Nick to the show so we can get to know Nick. It's the highlight of my week this week. True story, Nick. And what we like to do is like to pay it forward. So we said, Nick, here's the light for you, brother. I'd like you to shine the light on somebody in your community, in your world, so we can keep paying this experience forward. And guys, you ever feel like you're living two lives? The one you show the world and the one you're quietly building behind the scenes. Well, the creator today that Nick Hashemi is celebrating worked double shifts for years, holding down one of the most emotionally demanding jobs on earth. But late at night, in between shifts, he wasn't resting. This guy was investing, not just in real estate, but his future. Not because he hated his job, but because he knew it wasn't the final chapter. And he turned a nursing career into the launch pad for a new life in real estate. He used two nursing jobs to fund his first deals. He's now a full-time real estate developer, building generational wealth while sharing his story to help others do the same. And Jimmy, producer Jimmy, this guy's still not done. Good time, the guy's not done. Global, the guy's absolutely not done. His next move? Exploring how AI can reshape opportunity for people who weren't born into it. This morning, Mornings Live with Keith and Friends, on behalf of our guest, Nick Hashemi, is excited to bring all of you guys and celebrate to the stage. Jimmy, let's bring him up. We got Jesse Singh. What's going on, Jesse? Jesse's story is what Mornings in the Lab and the Business Athlete Performance Lab is all about. Quiet grit, long-term vision, and the courage to pivot with purpose. This guy just didn't dream bigger. He worked until the dream was undeniable. And Nick, brother, I got to say, man, when I asked you who you wanted to celebrate, I fucking absolutely loved the note that you shared. Because Jesse wasn't just a connection on LinkedIn. He was a link in the chain. The person whose comments helped you find Gio Maria Bugai. And Gio helped you find Amy Reinert, who we've celebrated and had on the show a couple of times. And then finally, nation, Amy Reinert led you to us. That
Amazing, huh?
right motherfucking there, I'm going to emphasize that, is the kind of ripple effect that we live for inside the lab. And I love it because when I created this segment, I could only have imagined, Nick, if I was to look to the future, that it's working out like it is right now. Brother, lots of love for it. So Jesse Singh, we're celebrating you here today. But Nick, why are you celebrating Jesse today, brother?
Because when I started LinkedIn, he was one of the first guy I kind of connected deeply with, and we had the same kind of a thinking. And I have ADHD. I think he has ADHD as well, so that's why we connected maybe. And then from him, just everything just like spread, and the dots got connected with people. And so for me, he's like the one who kind of introduced me to this LinkedIn society platform, whatever. So I clearly remember that, and we have so many posts. Many times when he posted something, I was about to post the same thing, or vice versa. So
Yeah,
really like in the same frequency.
I
appreciate it. Yeah.
In the same frequency, Jesse Singh, Nick Hashemi, and Jesse, here's how it works, brother. Because we celebrated Nick and had Nick on the show, we're now celebrating you. And as a result, we'd love to have you on the show in the exact same seat that Nick is in right now, so we can give you the light, Nick Hashemi. I'm sorry, Jesse Singh. We can give you the light, Jesse Singh, and celebrate somebody in your orbit for the next creator spotlight on the community corner on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Nick, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you hanging out with me this morning. I appreciate you being up late. No, I guess it's late there in Thailand right now. I appreciate your nomination, and I appreciate continuing to getting to know you and engage with you on the platforms. Come back and hang out with me again sometime, would you?
Of course, man. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here anytime.
Awesome.
And it's been amazing. Now you're doing an amazing job. So
thank you.
And I just feel it. This show is going to be huge. I'm just telling now, mark my words. And the day is like super huge. You can invite me back.
Dude, no, I listen right now. I say this all the time.
Yeah.
Once a friend of the lab, always a family member of the lab, and now you're part of the lab alumni. So
thanks, brother.
I'm just going to tell you this. You're not going anywhere. So because I tell all my guests, once you're in the lab, you're fucking stuck here with Uncle Keith and Uncle Johnny. So you're not going anywhere, brother. You're now a member of the lab. Nick, we got people fucking batting down the doors wanting to get into the lab. So like, hey, you can get into the lab one of three ways. We can invite you like we did with Nick. You can be nominated like we did with Jesse, or motherfuckers, you can pay. Yeah, true story. Yeah, you can pay to get in the lab.
Which one do you like the most? Which one do you like the most?
Oh, Nick, lots of love. I've never had a monk on my show. You're my first, and I'm looking forward to engage. We're going to grab some coffee the next couple of days, like I said, with our schedule. Let's hang out and spend some time off the show. Okay, brother?
Yeah, man. And we're on tomorrow, right? As we said, right?
I think so. Yeah, I'll look at the invite you sent me over. I haven't had a chance to look at it since the show today.
Thank you so much for having me, man. It was a pleasure being here, and I loved it. And keep on doing what you're doing.
I appreciate it. I appreciate
Thanks,
it.
appreciate it.
Tej Garang is throwing us a big thank you. Global, good luck is a given and a happy mind, and miracles are just a step away. And Global leads with this as well, protecting your peace within. So Global, I appreciate you, and Tej, I appreciate you as well. Nick Hashemi is out of here, guys. And at this part, we're going to get into, I'm going to start doing this. Whoa! It's time. It's time for the Community Corner, where we connect LinkedIn and Substack, baby. Yes. On Mornings and Live with Keith and Friends. You ever wonder what happens when you stop playing small and start showing up at work, at home, and in your own head? Well, today we're going to dive into some stories that challenge the way we see leadership, fatherhood, self-doubt, and even the wild world of personal experiments. Jimmy, personal experiments? Is that like left hand, right hand work? Let's get into it. All right, number one. Let's take the light and shine it on the LinkedIn world. The trust equation. Why leaders who own their mistakes win big. What if the secret to earning your team's trust is admitting when you mess up? Well, Chad Johnson, he dropped the truth bomb. Chad dropped the truth bomb. When leaders publicly hold themselves accountable, they're not just ticking boxes. They're building a bedrock of trust. Now, Chad shares 3 simple but powerful habits. Finish your own tasks on time. Apologize when you screw up. And focus on real outcomes, not just checking off the to-dos. It is a wake-up call for anyone in a leadership role. And are you modeling the kind of vulnerability and transparency that makes your team want to follow you? Or are you just a fucking lazy-ass leader who says, do this, do this, do this? And you're like, what the fuck? Why am I not getting results? Think about it. Your leadership style is building trust, or is it just a to-do list? I invite you guys, I want to see your comments. What's one way you've seen a leader earn or lose your trust? Haha, many ways. Let's keep it going. Let's move on over to number 2 on LinkedIn. Forget the brand, baby. Forget the brand and build the business. Are you hustling to craft the perfect personal brand before you even know who you're helping? There's a lot of you out there, I'm thinking. Well, Daniel Canty flips the script on the personal brand first mantra. And she says this: you don't need a brand, you need a business model. Danielle's point is clear. You can have the slickest profile in the game, but if you don't know who you are, and if you don't know who you serve, what problem you're solving, and how you'll deliver, you're just spinning your wheels. You're just hanging out in the old quicksand. Daniel presents a fresh take for anyone feeling overwhelmed by the pressure to look good online. It's like, oh yeah, I gotta look good online. I gotta have a personal brand, but who are you helping? And how? Let us know in the comments. Nation, what's the first step you take to build a real business before worrying about your brand? No, motherfuckers, it's not going to get a patent. No, it's not about getting all the fucking goofy details done. Go sell something. All right. Keep it on LinkedIn. Jimmy, the CEO who ran experiments on himself and what he learned. Here we go, getting into this one. You ever wondered what would happen if you treated your life like a series of A/B tests? I think we got to have this guy in the lab, Jimmy. Michael Burvell, a 27-year-old AI CEO. Oh, is he an AI, Jimmy, or is he a CEO? Is he a human? I don't know. Well, he just did that, yeah. From going alcohol-free and letting AI write all of his emails to acting classes and even quitting Instagram. Michael's experiments are all about learning what really works for his happiness and growth. What was his biggest takeaway? Knowing yourself is the first step to knowing how to grow. Is that not a true story? Speaking of true stories, Jimmy, the Mornings in the Lab store is open. Get yourself a nice true story hat. Knowing yourself is the first step to knowing how to grow. It's a reminder that sometimes the best way to level up is to get curious, try new things, and be honest about what's working. It's exactly what it is. And what's not. And if you could run one experiment in your life this month, what would it be? Right? What would it be? What would it be? Intermittent fasting? Going to bed on time? Writing gratitude notes? Global comes in with 1 Minute Manager book has been updated to 30-second praise correction. What? Global? I don't know what you mean. I love it though. All right, you're in the community corner. the segment of the show where we celebrate you. Yeah, we celebrate you. We celebrate the people moving the needle in the community on LinkedIn and on Substack. And then, Melissa, I think we're going to have to expand this segment to the rest of the planet. X, Threads, Blue Sky, all over the place. All right. Number one, Substack. Are you useful or are you valued? The career question nobody's asking. Here's a question that'll make you rethink your job. Are you just useful at work or are you truly valued? This Substack article by Better Than Random dives deep into the subtle but crucial difference between being the go-to gap filler and being the person whose voice shapes the future. Yeah, are you the shepherd or the sheep? Well, the author shares real-life moments like getting a huge retention bonus during layoffs and later feeling stuck in a caretaker role despite the rewards. What was the lesson? What was the lesson, nation? The lesson was being valued means you're part of the big conversations, not just a daily grind. Take a look at your own career. Look around. Are you shaping the mission? Are you shaping the conversation? Or are you just keeping the wheels turning? I want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What's one thing that's made you feel truly valued at work? Was it your boss? Or what would you love to see more of from your company's leadership? All right, keeping it going. We're moving our journey over to the quiet majesty of dad life, why fatherhood is the ultimate hero's journey. Guys, what if being a dad is less about perfection and more about showing up cracked and flawed every single motherfucking day? Well, Jeff Gisa's heartfelt Father's Day post is a love letter to new and soon-to-be dads. Yeah, Jeff shares the story of a stranger's reassuring words and the simple joys. Like a note from his son asking to roughhouse. Jeff gets real about how fatherhood forced him to grow up, ditch old habits, and find purpose beyond himself. So whether you're a bonus dad, an uncle, hey, I'm a bonus dad. I love being a bonus dad. I fucking love being a bonus dad. I love you, Brooks. So whether you're a bonus dad, an uncle, I'm Uncle Keith too to all of you. Yeah, true story. Yeah. Or a first timer, Jeff's message is clear. Being a dad is sacred, heroic, and nothing but that. And when you feel lost, you're probably doing better than you think. Dads, what's your quietest, proud moment? What's the one small but powerful dad moment that made you proud or made you laugh? Jimmy, what about you? All right, closing it up on the Substack side of things, 10 self-sabotaging thoughts that are stealing your freedom, and the one thing that fixes them all. Guys, you caught yourself thinking, I'm not ready? Good time. Do you ask yourself that question? Lady Drew, do you ask yourself that question? I'm not ready. I don't have enough time. Or who am I to do this? Well, Joe Barnes laid out the top 10 mental traps that keep us stuck and reveal the one mindset shift that trumps them. Trumps them all. Action, dissolving doubt. Joe shares her own struggles with imposter syndrome, perfectionism, and procrastination. And how the cure wasn't more planning, but just starting messy, imperfect, and real. Her advice, Jimmy, her advice was this: forget waiting for clarity or confidence. Take the first step and let momentum do the rest. So what's the one thing you'll do today to break the cycle? I invite you to comment below. What's the self-sabotaging thought you're ready to kick to the start? What is it, guys? What is it, guys? I'm asking you. What is it? That's it, guys, for today's story, for today's Community Corner segment. Which one hit most for you? What's one experiment, mindset shift, or leadership move you want to get to try out this week? Ask yourself. And if you want your story featured on the show, I invite you to tag us on the Mornings in the Lab Creators Community Corner. Just tag us in your comments. Damn it. Yeah, Jimmy, I see you, brother. I kind of almost forgot, but I didn't. So we're going to keep it going here. Yeah, exactly. You want to build something that matters, but some days it's hard to know where to start? Well, the advice feels generic, the noise feels endless, and you're self-searching for something real? Well, there's someone who's spent his career finding real answers from deep conversations with people who've built companies, led teams, and shaped culture. Every week, he shares what he's learned in a way that's simple, useful, and honest. This guy's interviewed over 700 of the world's most influential entrepreneurs, from creators from Sarah Blakely to Howard Schultz to Jimmy Fallon and not to Keith Billis. And he just doesn't ask about success. He digs into the setbacks, the strategy, and the moments they almost gave up. His weekly newsletter is for people who want to grow. Nation, I invite you to meet Guy Raz, the voice behind I built this wisdom from the top and the great creators. And now he's distilling 25 years of interviews into practical weekly insights for people building something of their own. He shares things like what's the best founders actually focus on, how great leaders reframe failure, why clarity, not hustle, is the best approach. So if you're serious about building something that lasts, go read what Guy Raz is sharing. All right, guys. Guy, I got an invite for you, brother. Love to have you on my show. I'd love to have you on the community corner as part of the Creator Spotlight. I'd love to give you the light so you can shine it on somebody in your world on the next Creator Spotlight on the community corner on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Jimmy. All right, wrapping it up here today, guys. Wow, big show. Woo, big show. We went a long time today, Jimmy. It was a big one here today. So to do that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some sounds up here. No, not that one. We're going to get this one up here. There we go. Yeah, get this music in your ears, guys. Hear it? Yeah, that music is the intro and exiting sounds. So we're going to get the hell out of here. It's 10:20 Eastern time. Roofy, it's been an over one today. On behalf of Johnny, myself, Nick, Damon Clark, Lady Drew, Global, Jimmy, Melissa, Jamie, Holroyd, Good Time, man, Critrin, Amy Reinhardt, Joe Fontana. On behalf of everybody who showed up this morning, I appreciate every one of you. I appreciate the time you give us. I'm your host, I'm Keith Billis. We get after it every single day right here on YouTube, over there on LinkedIn, over there on X, over there on Substack. We get after it. Daily conversation for men. It's called Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. I'm getting out of here. I'll see you guys tomorrow right here, less than 24, 8 o'clock Eastern time, live conversation. We'll see you guys tomorrow.